Yo, what is up, everybody? This is just kind of going live. We got stock futures opening up. I haven't even gotten the chance to fully look at it. This should be an interesting time, though. I'm getting the tweet out. I'm getting the stuff. We're live on the YouTubes and the Twitters, on the X's. How's everyone doing today? Emp, how are you doing? Appreciate you joining me here.
I'm doing great. Excited to be here watching these futures open, watching some positioning already fighting, jostling around here. We're down about 0.5%. We gap down a little bit further than this. It's doing a little bounce here right at the open, but obviously,
Are you able to show your screen? Is that how it works?
yeah, I can if you give me just a second. Let me get that thrown up
Yeah, that
here.
would be awesome. Also, I'm going to post that invite link, or I'm going to tell people below this to, if any of our friends want to come and join in. One of my favorite things about Spaces is that people can just naturally join in, and that's missed a little bit here. Okay, wait. Add scene. How do I do this? Looks like I'm good. There we go. That is Emperador screen. How can I see the chat? Chat. Okay, let's go. Hey, what's up? NHO and San Diego shit. Shout out.
Shout out first. There we go.
What's
All
up,
right.
Pixel? Gap down. Looks like we're green off of it.
Yeah, so you can see this is NQ right here. This is where we ended up the day, right at the end of the day on Friday. And you can see from this spot right here where we closed, we've gapped down. Here's your open. It wicked down hard and it's pushing back up a little bit. Wouldn't be surprised to see it test these previous days' lows just right here.
And by the way, for everyone joining us, I do enjoy these futures open. I normally get to see them like 10 minutes later because I'm not investing to trade it. I just get the news out. But then at 8 p.m. Eastern, we get those 24-hour markets opening, which I really do enjoy looking at too on Robinhood and everything. Solid push to the open is what RNC is saying.
I'm just taking a look here on the actual daily candle here to kind of see where we're at. You can see we've lost the 20-day. This is the 20-day moving average right here. The 200 days, the red one down here. So we did lose a 20-day moving average that we had been continuously holding. You can see this right here. So we are under that just a little bit. That's on NQ. Yes, almost touched that 200-day moving average right there at the low. That'll be a key watch for me and for most traders. Will be this 200-day moving average on the ES contract.
Sorry, I'm also sharing this out. I got to get this to a couple places, posting to the threads, the Instagrams. I know you've been talking a lot about futures open, just going short.
Yeah, so like on the days where we have a kind of a trend up day, that's been the easy play. But tonight, on a night like this where you gap down, a lot of times it's the opposite. A lot of times you want to go long. Um, I wasn't super comfortable going long right down here, so I'm kind of waiting to see if it comes back up a little bit. I'm looking for shorts personally. Just I knew it was going to gap down. Usually, gaps down. You have some people buying it, some people covering if they were already short into this or taking some profit. And anybody that is wanting to get short is going to wait on it to pop up a little bit here. We do have the 6,000. This area right here is 6,000 on the ES psychological number to watch. That first 5-minute candle, we have a huge gap. When you look at this.
Huge. Well, a lot happened this weekend, and I do want to cover all the news. Obviously, I'm sure you guys have all seen the U.S. hit a couple nuclear facilities in Iran. We still don't even know a lot. There's still a lot of questions of how much damage was done. Did they move the stuff out? What's the retaliation going to be? Which actually, again, we might get that during this live stream if we're live for the next couple hours. I'm
glad you mentioned that because the time frame, like midnight, around this time is midnight, a little bit later over there in the Middle East. This is when we've seen most of these strikes. So for example, the ones that happened last night, they happened about an hour, 2 hours after this time frame we're currently in. But a lot of these night strikes tend to be when things happen, and that is the time frame we're currently in right now.
Yeah, and honestly, I kind of expected to happen. So I was kind of looking into this. If you were looking at what people were thinking, a lot of the stuff that happened, the U.S. striking, it could have been expected. Now, I'm very curious. I have no idea what's about to happen next, and I think that will kind of tell us what the next couple weeks and months is. But the market is discounting it now. That I saw someone like a Dan Ives saying, "Hey, he expects the market to be green today. The worst case, or the thick of it is out of the way," which we'll see. I don't know.
Here's your 4% gap up on oil.
Okay.
Well, it's even more than that actually. So the gap up was actually over 5%. It's pulled back to a 4% up right now on oil.
And by the way, if you need to also take any live trades or anything, let me know and I could just take over and talk, and you can focus on that for sure. That's cool.
You're good. I'm kind of being a little patient here. It's a tough call because where we opened up is basically at those same lows that we had last Thursday night when some of the stuff kind of started getting heated up. So it's kind of in the same area that's being priced in for now, or at least where buyers previously stepped in a little bit. So I'm just cautiously watching this, kind of waiting to see if we start to reject in this area, we'll look to get short. But you can
Okay,
see these same
that's
areas.
NQ.
This is NQ. You can see these same areas. This is from last Friday when we kind of took off down that night, or Thursday into Friday night, and then this past
So if I
Friday
was a
night.
bear, I'd be saying, "Hey, let's reject this level, show a little resistance here, and then dump it." Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so like if you go back to you see like this was a big down day. This is the same area. So like this is the area where buyers have been stepping in is right here. And you can even see that all the way back here. So when we pulled back these days, this you draw a whole box around this area. So if you're on the S&P, it's 5980s up to this 6,000 area. So pushing back up into this kind of makes sense and see if you get some type of rejection in this area. So I don't know. All of the value from Friday, you see all these lows up here. That's probably the area that you would watch for this back test. And then that's probably where the shorts will come in, if I had to guess. So that's like 6,000 to 6,008, that area on your ES. On NQ, it's your we'll call it 760s up to 800, this area right here.
How does it look for ES? So NQ, anyone doesn't know, NASDAQ, tech stocks more. S&P ES is S&P 500. What's up, Janny? Saying hi in the YouTube chat. I think I'm going to make the jump back at YouTube, at live streaming again. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I just put it out on everywhere. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel. I appreciate you, Johnny.
I do see. I
We had
watch
9,000 people watching right away, by the way.
Yeah, well, everyone, I think, and honestly, I think a lot of traders are logged on. They're probably doing similar to what I'm doing. They're probably kind of seeing what's the reaction going to look like before I really get involved. I'm looking at the book map to see if there's any aggressive orders going on. I do see some selling actually going on right now, but when I look at the book map, I see them waiting that 6,000 level on ES. There's a decent size amount of contracts waiting there. So we'll see if it kind of tests up into that area and we start seeing some sellers come in there. So it's going to be
a lot of comments there. The him said UNH. I am curious in UNH. I know it's been stuck a little bit. Well, maybe if we're live at 8 p.m., we'll talk about that once they start moving. Evan says, "Yo, shout out Evan. Great name, wonderful name, great name. What's up, Octo?
Beautiful name, one of the best.
What the best name? I never heard a better name. It's a big, beautiful name. Stock futures, though. My stuff is 10 minutes delayed. I just literally just use CNBC because I never really dug too deep. But I need to find a better source. Yeah, they opened up pretty red.
Yeah, so we did. If you're looking at just the S&P, from where we opened up, we've already pushed up 30 points. That's 0.5%. NQ, very similar from where you opened. You've already pushed up almost 0.5% as well, about 90 points. So we were down almost 200 on the NQ. Now we're up or down just about 112. This is going off of the closing price from Friday's session, of course. But it's still early. Like I said, you can have shorts taking profit. Your bears are probably, your smarter bears are going to wait and start to put in shorts up here in this area on the back test. I think that's kind of what I'm waiting for to see. It's not as volatile as maybe I thought I would see it tonight.
I think there's still a lot of questions, which actually, truthfully, the market does not like. So maybe you're right in that assessment. But it feels like we're in a state of a lot of questions, not a lot of answers. What is Iran going to do? What's the state of this? Like, what's everyone's reactions? I think we're in a little bit of a wait and see period where, again, we talked about this a little bit ago. I think some of that's going to be solved tonight and resolved tonight. I was looking through the Catalyst Watch, but we'll do this a little bit later because obviously futures are just opening, and I want to really focus in on this. And once we're in like hour two and don't have much to talk about, we can dig in a little deeper. But there are a couple macro data points that are interesting this week. PCE, little inflation data, GDP, a little growth data, and more stuff going on. So also a couple earnings. And then obviously, I think the market is going to be moving off of this Iran, Israel, US thing, although I don't think it's too much further off. Also consider how much of the news is baked in. I think in the comment section. I think a lot of this news is probably baked in, and I think this might have been the peak of it, and a new from a market caring front. If stuff doesn't escalate drastically, we'll see though. I could be very wrong.
So that's the interesting piece here, right? Because the U.S. involvement was like, okay, one, we now have direct U.S. involvement, so that's the bad side of things. The good side of things is there's no more questions around it. Is the U.S. going to get involved? So we know the U.S. is involved at this point. So maybe you take that off the table as far as the uncertainty risk factor there, but at the same time, you now have the U.S. directly involved in a conflict. So we'll have to see how it progresses. Plus, we haven't really seen a retaliation out of Iran yet. They've made some comments. Obviously, you have slanted, biased views coming out of really three sides of this conflict when you go from Iran side to Israel side to the US's side. So there's a lot of pandering and slanted news, maybe even some false flags being put out there a little bit as well. So a
Well,
lot to
that's
digest for
actually
a market.
one thing to point out. So there's a lot of these, open source Intel people watching it. And I've been watching a lot of them on YouTube too. I told you which ones I'm watching. It would probably give away where my bias lies. But everyone was watching, a bunch of B-2 bombers and KC stuff going west towards Guam. Turns out that was like a little fake news, false flag, and they were going right. False flag's the wrong word, but a little diversion for them to go right. So you never know what's really happening when someone really doesn't want you to know. And I'm kind of sitting and waiting, and I think there's a couple more dominoes to fall, but I don't know how much the market cares. This is one or two in the comment section. Eric talking about the Strait of Hormuz. Eric said, not sure Iran is strong enough. Can I show this on the screen? Show. Nice. Not sure Iran is strong enough to close the Strait of Hormuz. I don't know how much I fully agree with that because, drones and what we've seen with the Houthis in the Bab el-Mandeb Strait on the other side. It seems like it's not that difficult to close off these straits. It also seems like you only need to hit a couple ships for all these other Western areas, all these insurance companies to say, hey, don't go there, and you could kind
Well,
of shut it off.
it's what, 21 miles wide or something. If they attack a couple ships and create some kind of blockage just based on an accident, it doesn't. I don't think they necessarily have to just put out mines and scare people away. I think they could attack a ship or two and create this as well. Like I'm
Yeah.
not saying that's going to happen, but that's just some of the thoughts that are out there of possible retaliation methods that they may use as far as Strait of Hormuz goes.
I think at the end of the day, also, you need to ask yourself, how much does this, obviously we're all watching this stuff, and I only want to talk about it from the market perspective. That's the only area that I kind of feel comfortable talking about. It's like, my question is what areas are impacted? What are some of the secondary impacts potentially of that area? Obviously, listen, we're talking about AI and data centers, and those are very energy intensive projects, and not all of them run on oil and gas, and not all of them run on this or that. But you increase the price of energy intensive stuff tends to be a little bit trouble here. Fencer says feels like an H pattern here, recovery some. and start that next leg down. Maybe is what he's thinking.
Yeah, we'll see. I was checking Bitcoin price here. Bitcoin,
Bitcoins.
kind of your one of your risk barometers. Bitcoin back over 100K for now, but it's in the same area. So we'll kind of see what happens. Still down, a couple thousand just from yesterday's close. That
We
is
have also
interesting.
had, by the way, 12,500 people tune in so far. Pretty
I
good.
think
Getting
everyone
live
wants to know
stream.
what's going on. Which so like I don't Evan, I don't know how much you've hit on all the events that are going on here, but the main one obviously is that the US sent bombers
Friendly.
and Tomahawk missiles, what I saw. So we sent B2 bombers and dropped some of those
Let
bunker
me share
buster
my screen a
bombs.
little.
Yeah,
Is
there you
that
go.
it?
And yeah,
Nice. All right. Let's run through a little bit of the news and not show my DMs. Nice.
yeah, so that piece, Evan, the B2 bombers, I think, is one of the key pieces, as well as the other piece of the attacks. We sent Tomahawk missiles from submarines, is what was reported. So that was the extent of the attacks from the U.S. on Iran. Obviously, we also had President Trump make a statement last night. I see you were pulling that up.
All right, yeah. Let me run into a couple of these. This is a lot of the stuff that happened over the weekend. It really is a lot of centered around this U.S. Iran talks. Let me know if you're seeing anything in the comment section. This is the post that kind of we really did know this was going to happen. Like I said, we saw a lot of action of the U.S. moving assets more and more towards the Middle East. There's a lot of open source intel which you can go in and look at. And then last night we got this post from Trump saying the U.S. struck 3 nuclear facilities within Iran. That he was saying that they're fully destroyed. We haven't had full confirmation on that. There were some words that the U.S. may have told Iran that this was coming a couple of days before, even though it was signaled pretty aggressively that it was going to happen if they didn't negotiate, and it doesn't sound like they were negotiating. So there are some early evidence, possibly that they might have moved some of the nuclear stuff out, by some of the uranium out in other projects. Who knows? So that is something to keep an eye on. We don't know if that is fully done, but the U.S. has entered into this war. Kind of. We're waiting for Iran to come in and react. Trump did hold a 10 p.m. press conference last night, basically just saying that they were doing it, and not much after that one. But this is what we're keeping an eye on right now. What is Iran's reaction going to be? There's a lot of U.S. assets in the region. Israel has continued to strike. That was the only strike that the U.S. has done so far. They've signaled that's the only ones that they plan to do. Trump has been waving around saying, we took them out, it's done. Iran is saying, hey, they didn't really get us out. So that is something to really keep an eye on. But we're waiting for that reaction from Iran. The other big story from the weekend, which actually we're going to talk about this one a little bit too. Iran parliament reportedly approves closing of the Strait of Hormuz. Top security body required to finalize decision on this measure. So this is one that we were talking about a little bit before that would cut off a lot of oil. Around 20% of the world's oil flows through the Strait of Hormuz. China is someone who gets a lot of Iranian oil, so this would impact them pretty directly. This would also pretty directly impact a lot of Western countries, Qatar, Iraq. Sorry, I'm sure a lot of Saudi Arabia's oil flows throughout there. So a lot of countries will be impacted by the closing of the Strait of Hormuz, but that would directly impact energy and oil prices. Now, the U.S. does produce a lot of oil and gas itself, and if it really was just itself and wanted to survive through it, it probably wouldn't see that much of an impact. But that doesn't mean how it would impact allies and how they would end up reacting to it. So that is something that I am keeping an eye on. That is one of the big ones to watch out for. The other big event going on today is Tesla Robotaxi. That launch, Sawyer Merritt, I've been following him. Obviously, we do the GigaCast with him, but him, Omar Farzad, a bunch of other people were invited out to be the first people to ride in the Tesla Robotaxi. So that is going on. You're seeing a lot of videos of it. They have about 10 out there. This is what the factory or the floor looks behind it. They're really, you can even kind of see, like, they're looking at the cars there, pictures of every single one. There's a lot of videos coming out of it, but after years, and some could call it decades of waiting for FSD to actually be here, it seems like it's finally here. And the first couple times, obviously, this is full self-driving tech. I'm waiting for that first crash. I'm waiting for something scary. But we shall see. Let's see. Is there any economic news this week? Is what we got asked. by Steve. And we also got Gambling Bear saying Space's crew, no days off. Let's go. Never. Yes, there is a little bit of macro news. Let's run through that, and then I'll dig through this a little bit deeper. Let's go through the Catalyst Watch for the week. So this is just has a bunch of different events, some that you may be watching, some that you may not be watching. Let's actually skip through this. You can see it on my page. Here is the earnings calendar for the week. We have FedEx Tuesday after the close. We have Micron Wednesday after the close. And then we have Nike Thursday after the close. Watch out for those. We do have a couple macro events coming up. There are a lot of Fed presidents speaking. The FOMC blackout period for June would have ended there. So this whole week, you should expect a lot of Fed presidents to be talking. Watch out for that. As far as macro events to look out for, this is on Friday. Here's one thing that I am watching, this PCE index. That is the Fed's preferred inflation index. Whenever they're quoting 2% or whatever it is, that is what they're looking towards, this set of data points. So it's important. Fed's watching it, so are we. Another thing to watch, now this is on Thursday, GDP. This is the one that I am looking forward to. We also get initial jobless claims, which the market looks forward to on the jobs data. That is how many people have filed for unemployment over the past week. But I am very much looking for this GDP print, see what that ends up coming in at. I believe this would be the final GDP reading. So the next time, a month from now, we would actually get the first reading of the Q2 GDP print. So PCE on Friday, GDP on Thursday. That is what we got on the macro front. We had Jerome Powell testifying in front of Congress. Watch out for that this week as well. That is coming up on both Wednesday and Tuesday and Wednesday. And yeah, so that is a lot of the macro events that are going on this week. What else do you got in there? There we go. No other comments. Yep. That is some of what I'm watching. I'll dig in a little deeper on a couple more of the events, see how it's impacting. But Iran, US, Israel, one of the big topics affecting the entire market.
I think that's
Tesla robotaxi launch.
the main.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say the main thing obviously is this stuff going on in the Middle East, right? But there's actually some. I mean, there's some macro stuff. There's also some earnings this week, Evan. I don't know if you want to hit on those as well as far as Catalyst Watch goes. But there's actually some decent sized companies reporting this week, even though it's been kind of a lull of the season.
Yeah, I was running through a couple of those, and maybe we'll dig in more. But we had, like I said, we had FedEx Tuesday after the close, Micron Wednesday after the close, Nike Thursday after the close. And I'll pull up Earnings Hub. Yeah, we could just look into it now. Earnings Hub. Let's do this. Share screen.
I've got it here.
Oh, you got it up. Nice. So why don't you click into FedEx? That one's Tuesday after the close. They're actually their founder, who was CEO for a really long time. He ended up passing away today.
I just saw that. Yeah, Mr. Smith. Yeah, there's some wild stories around like him taking like the last $5,000 he had and putting it on a roulette hand or something out there in Vegas, and was able to pay. It's kind of one of those like folk legend stories, but it's definitely an interesting piece out there.
The him with a comment. I'm brand new to investing. Where should I am to get into QQQ and VOO? I think he's saying he's brand new. What should he check out for the first time? I think, I never want to tell you to buy, and you should always look into it. And the reason I'm a news guy instead of, Warren Buffett, best-selling author, is because, I'm not the expert. I really do think those broad-based market indexes are a great place to start. I think you're in a great area if you're starting with the VOO and QQQ and Vanguard and State Street and BlackRock. They're all the 3 or 4 largest companies in there. Just starting with their products and then kind of going out from there, I think is a good way to start. We're talking about like the risk curve and where you're entering in, and individual stocks tend to be one of the more riskier areas to start out. So everyone comes in, and even I fall victim to this of like, I'm like, okay, I need to be invested in things or have a play on this, whatever. But, majority of my portfolio is in those type of broad-based market indexes, and I think it's a good place to start. So I think VOO, I've heard some good stuff about other like QQQ type indexes, so you don't need to specifically use that one, but I think they're good. I want to get into QQQ and VOO, just don't know what price to aim to get in at. That's actually one of the things that I do. So we're here. Everyone is trying to outperform the market. Great. You should go in and pick your times. But for the average person, if you just want to do good over time, one of the things that I think is pretty valuable, interesting, is sorry, that was delayed, is dollar cost averaging. Again, this isn't for everyone. This isn't hey, if you're trying to outperform the market, great. But if you just want to come in and make money, and average has a negative connotation a lot of times, but average in the stock market has proven to be extremely successful and is a proven track record that will get you to where you have to go.
Here's a
So
QQQ
what I'm saying
chart,
here
by the way.
is really quickly. But yeah, buy if you just put in, hey, once a month, every single month, same time, I'm gonna put the same amount of money in over time. That is the type of thing that has proven to work so far, and that is the QQQ chart zoomed out. What were we saying?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, like when people ask, this is my favorite thing to do. When people ask when should I buy, here's what QQQ looks like on a monthly basis, for example. I mean, it's yeah, you get some dips and stuff, some volatility, but in general, if you just look at this, like, that's what QQQ does over time, right? I can look at SPY and similar thing, right? It's just like that. When's a good time as an investor? I'm adamantly agree with what, without giving financial advice, of course, what Evan's saying here. Invest, put money into it. Just
I'm gonna be back in 1 second,
yeah,
by the way. Stay
dollar
on.
cost average, those kind of things. That's been proven to work over time. And I mean, just the thing is, even if you bought the highs here or bought the highs here, look where we're at. Just a few years later, we're much higher than we were. I mean, some people were worried about buying the highs back in 2021. If you bought there, you're still up 25% on your position. So that's what I think on that. I think it's a good thing. Um, See if we get a little push up here into the 6,000 area on ES, and I'm gonna be looking to take another short here. We'll see what happens here. I am keeping my eyes on gold, pulling back a little bit from the gap up. Oil as well. You've got this previous day high on oil here that probably gets tagged at some point. This is kind of this open push that I was talking about. Here we go. We're getting right into this area where there's definitely orders on the book map that are interested. So right up here in this area.
Matthew had some funny comments. He said zero DT SPX, zero out of the money calls. Buy those. He deleted the comment, but I did think that was funny.
Yeah. Zero DTs and investing should not be in the same sentence. That's definitely a trade. Watching this previous day, this oil comes into previous day high here.
You answer this one. He says, I agree with you. I just hate to buy near all-time high.
Well, that's the thing. Like I was just kind of hitting that. If you bought, even if you bought at the highs back in 2021, the end of 2021, even if you bought then, I mean, what, it's been 4 years and you're up still 24%, even if you bought this high. Now, if you were buying all the way down, and even if you got your average down, like if you're just buying consistently, your average probably ended up being down here, even during that pullback of 2022, and you're still up 40% with where we're currently at. I mean, that's the thing. Timing the market is not easy. Time in the market is what's most important. We've heard a lot of famous investors use that quote over the years.
Yeah, but what I will say is it's definitely difficult to see the price significantly higher than it was 3 months ago and say, hey, I'm going to go buy. I've struggled with that. So, for me personally, I was buying more aggressively a couple months ago. I've slowed down my buying now. I'm still buying a little bit, because obviously we do continue to go up. But, I've sat on cash for a while. I know I want to be in the market. We're higher than those points, even though we did have pullbacks. I did get in. We're higher than we were. So, I think you got to sit with that. If you want to try and do better, try and do better. But the system of just buying a little bit each month consistently, not money that you're not going to need in the next couple years, if you can let it sit there for a couple decades, it's going to get you to where you need to go. So.
S&P is my favorite. S&P and Nasdaq both are my favorite savings accounts.
What do you? I'm curious what this question is. What do you mean by what do you think about dollar cost averaging with leverage? Are you talking about like the leverage stocks, like the 2x ones? because those ones are really made for traders, which your trading strategy can involve dollar cost, well, averaging into a position for sure. But I don't know if those are really great for the long term investor. Oh, sorry, I was getting away from my mic. I don't know if those are great for the long term investor.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You don't really want a dollar cost average into. Sorry, I'm getting in a short here. We hit the area I talked about.
Rug it.
We'll see how aggressive this pullback gets here, but we hit the area. This is that 6,000 area I was talking about, and I'm interested to see what happens here. It may push up a little bit higher, like I was showing on this. The lows that we had, I mean, that basically was the low that we had on Friday. You can see right here, but the real area is kind of this 608 to 610, 6008 to 6010 area on ES. That would be an even better spot, but aggressive shorts are going to start coming in here at the 6,000.
By the way, I just put it in the live chat on X. If you're watching this, go click that. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. I appreciate you all. But I'm trying to do more of these live streams if you enjoy them. He says the one coin says European futures ? What are the European markets looking like?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know what they've been, or they're not even open. Asia markets will open here shortly. About the time that 24-hour trading opens on Robinhood, so like 8 Eastern, is when you see really Shanghai, Tokyo, and all those Asian markets really get going. I don't really pay attention to futures, like overnight futures or anything in those markets. I just pay attention to what the actual markets are doing as they're open. Evan, I don't know if you're muted. I can't hear anything.
God damn it, I was muted that whole time. All right.
I figured I saw the Apple stuff pop up.
Him
There. I was like,
asked me
"There's
about
no way
Apple's
he's not
current
talking."
price. What do you think I'm going to say?
It's a very interesting chart, that's for sure.
So what I'm going to say is if you're thinking the long term, I do think there may be better plays here. I think there's a play back up here to 250 for Apple to go back up to all-time highs, probably from a trading perspective. What your questions were earlier, I'd probably stay away. I don't think there's that much downside, but I think there's more upside in other areas, and you might be better off just going in the indexes. I think Apple has a return up to that 250 level. It's waiting for a good headline catalyst. It will probably be around AI. Maybe it's them acquiring Perplexity. Initial move down, test the bottom of that range you were starting to draw there a little bit, and then a spike up out of it. Any kind of thing that Apple might not be so far behind on AI and a catch up might be underway. We'll see. Maybe I'm just doing it, but I think the stock wants to be up at 250.
Yeah, for me, the fact that the market was starting to get scared and pull back, but Apple was getting some push here. Also, like you mentioned, the catalyst. Catalyst can be a big thing whenever you have a chart that's really consolidating. I mean, this is a lot of consolidation here. Um, if they do spend some of this cash, we know they have a ton of cash. We know that they're probably not developing their own AI too much. If they just want to jumpstart that by acquiring or a heavy partnership with like a Perplexity, we saw that headline this weekend. I think that's a really good. I think it's a really good catalyst that would actually get some excitement going into the stock again. I mean, for now, you've you've really done nothing. I mean, you pulled back and you've gone nowhere. I mean, this thing really, even since the bounce off the April lows, it's just sitting here in the same area. I mean, it's not really doing much of anything. But you have a downtrend that's trying to break. You have these moving averages trying to get going. You haven't visited the 200-day moving average in quite a while. I would not put that past a good, medium term target to look for on Apple, just from a trade perspective.
Yeah, shout out to Wapender, recognizing that we're here on a Sunday. He said Evan, but Eb's also here. But I think it's more expected of you than me, is what he's saying there.
think it's because I'm always here.
I haven't seen how the futures are going after you took that short.
It's kind of hanging out in the same spot still. I mean,
Okay.
this is right that same area right here that I was looking at, and we'll see. I mean, it's it's not like, I mean, this is 15-minute chart. You've got a big candle, a smaller candle, and you're starting to get an upper wick on this candle, but there's only halfway through a 15-minute. It's still early. I mean, when I'm looking at the time frame that we're in right now, we still have what, an hour, 2 hours to go, really, before Asia gets going, before those 28-hour markets really get going. What, hour and a half? So that's usually when things start to move a little bit more. But a lot of times when you gap down, you see this kind of, you see a push, and then you see it kind of like consolidate, and then it'll either it'll either do something like this, or it'll consolidate and start to run out of steam and fall off. So that's kind of the two things that I'm watching to see what happens here.
Yeah, I see the OneCoin and RAM saying hymns and NBIZ. We'll see the individual stock 24-hour markets open at 8 p.m. Eastern, so about an hour and a half from right now. So I think we'll be staying live for that. I imagine we're going to get a geopolitical headline or two during this too.
That's kind of, I think that's the thing a lot of us are waiting on, is like, okay, what news stories are going to come out that the market can react to a little bit. I mean, Trump, I think, purposely goes into this and looks at, okay, the markets won't react if I do something on Saturday night, really. Like, that's the least, enough people get the panic kind of uncertainty stuff out of their system when it happens on a Saturday night. They have all day Sunday into Monday to think about it. So, like, from a market perspective, that's the best case scenario. Um, Now, obviously, Iran and Israel don't care about that at all, which I thought it was interesting. I saw a few posts that Israel's market has been up a lot. I don't track that. I've just seen that in posts.
Yeah, I'm seeing Breezes is asking kind of sentiment, what we're thinking for the futures here right now. I know Emp said he was short. I also think that one of the things you have to realize right now is there's a lot of unknowns going into the Sunday. Now, the market does not tend to like unknowns. So if this persists, I don't know how that, I'd imagine we'd be to a slow to skittish, just down a tiny bit. But I don't think this will be the kind of standpoint for a while. So I think we are going to sit, wait, see. There's a little bit of macro point that come out in the second half of the week,
I will say
economic
the
and earnings. But yeah,
some of the posts and comments coming out of Trump are kind of interesting, because it's not politically correct to use the term regime change, but if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change? He likes to drop these little kind of breadcrumb type of things, and it's that part to me is very interesting.
did you
These
just
little
say you think
breadcrumbs that
we're?
he
Did you
does
just
drop,
say?
and
Did you just say you think we're in the middle of a coup right now?
well, I mean, we do know that the U.S. as a whole does not have a good track record on regime change. Well, I think we can all agree on that piece. But for this to be, deterrent attacks, for this to be a signal type of attack, and then now the president of the free world is dropping breadcrumbs on regime change, it's a little bit of a concerning moment here. There, we are popping up a little bit higher. See if we get
I'll
another
be back in a
shot at
minute.
it up here.
I'll be back. I'll be back. Nice having the chat, by the way. Ask us more questions. That makes this a lot easier, fun, great. The him asked about Google, by the way. I'll come back and answer that. I think I like Google. I stopped myself from buying it. The him, one thing I will say, not financial advice, just one thing that I'm personally doing, which I do make my portfolio available to view in real time for free. We could talk, you've probably seen it. One ETF I've added a little bit is one called QTOP. QTOP. What it is it holds the 25 largest NASDAQ 100 stocks. It's basically QQQ, but 25 stocks. And that's it. Higher concentration on the top. Maybe it's something that could be interesting for you. Something I have been putting a little bit of money into, but I do like Google. I don't own an aggressive amount of it, but I've thought about it recently. and I'll be back.
Google to me is such an interesting one. I feel like it could have a great comeback story, but when does that happen? And the amount of concerns around like the search stuff is a real concern, I think, that a lot of investors have. See if this pop gets faded here on the futures a little bit. I got stopped out of this short, but I'm trying it again up here. It's managing my risk, of course. It's oddly quiet around the news wires right now. I see I can't highlight comments while Evan's not here because he's driving the ship today, but I see this on ZOM. So like I think it's a really tough. How much is priced in? How much isn't priced in? I mean, oil
The
just
oil
made a new.
question. Oil opened up
Yeah,
this one.
oil. Well, no, I was looking at the next gen. Was talking about Exxon Mobil. Kevin Green has had some good commentary around these. I, I mean, the chart looks okay from a technical perspective, but you're running back into. I mean, Exxon for a long time is just between 100 and 120. It's just back and forth. Right now, it's headed. What it looks like to be to the top side of this range. So I don't know. Like I would say somebody that's more in tune with the oil space and what this can look like. Um, I mean, it's concerning for oil and how that affects inflation, but at the same time, like when it comes to this higher oil prices, how long do they stay? Does it make a drastic difference in what Exxon is doing over a bigger time frame? How long does oil stay up here? How long does this conflict go on? I think there's a ton of questions that I don't know the answers to. So you want to see this candle engulf this one and start to head back down? Yes, the S&P is actually acting pretty decent still so far, even up here in this area. I finally saw some orders start to fill a little bit on the short side, but nothing too aggressive yet.
Okay, a couple more comments. Los Angeles says, "What about Robinhood? It's at an all-time high. Are you staying positive that this trend will continue?" I don't know about the short to medium term. This is one that I'm long-term bullish on. You know, seems like they're going at. There's a lot of very large traditional names, the Schwabs, the TDs of the world. They don't seem to innovate aggressively. You know, as people age out, money starts to get you to younger generations that like apps like Robinhood, and it seems like a nice runway. I don't know about here at all-time highs. I feel better about adding it than like a Palantir, but I haven't bought aggressively recently.
Yeah, on Hood, I think you have an inflection point happening. Obviously, is it tough to buy up here at these prices? Yeah, absolutely. But where does the dip go to? I think that's a tough thing to say. It's a name that I want to continue being long, just like Evan was saying. You have Vlad constantly innovating and adding new things, and there's still many directions that I think they can continue to go. I think the growth is going to be there and continue to be there, and any company that's growing is something that's going to be on my list of investments, right? So I am long Robinhood. I have a $37 something like that average, so like I'm up over 100%. So I'm not adding. I'm really not. I trimmed a little bit, but I'm really not trimming much either because I just see the next few years continuing to be very good for Robinhood. I mean, we just saw mortgage applications pop up there. I think I saw those on Friday. Some people were posting it. I checked my app and saw it there as well. It really seems like they're creating an everything app. and Vlad's going to keep pushing the limits on how many buckets they can put into this one application. And even like it seems like almost everything they try is working out very well. I mean, these prediction markets that they threw on there are, I think, a banging success right now. The amount of excitement I've seen around those have been incredible, and obviously that's revenue generating for them. So not only is it getting people on there, I know people that have opened up accounts on Robinhood to trade these prediction markets. You know, whether it's sports or whatever. Mostly sports is what I see. I know some other people look at other things as well, you know, similar to what, Kalashi and Polymarket are doing, but you've seen Hood do it as well, right there in your brokerage account where it's all in one spot. And popularity of that's gone well. Obviously, the gold card programs and these other things they're doing are doing very well. Their AI is going to be very interesting to me as that continues to roll out. Managed portfolios, the Cortex AI, where does that go? How much features does that end up having as it comes into more of the trading? I know we got a breadcrumb on that the other day on a space interview that we had with someone from their team. So and honestly, for the trading side of things, I mean, they're focused on investor. There is a lot to be desired still on the trading side of things and the active trader side of things that I think is a continued market and revenue generator that they can flip that lever at any point and get a little bit more action there too. So we'll see what happens. But that's the type of company that I think has a lot of potential over the next continued, 3 to 5 years and beyond. So I echo Evan's thoughts.
Nice. What are some of these other comments? I don't know. I don't know what FBTC is if this is not just a Bitcoin spot ETF. So I don't have a great answer for you on that one. David, if you want to let me know what that is more, I'd be curious. Robinhood is on such a generational run right now, and I honestly kind of agree, but I don't want to buy after. One thing that I did see that was pretty cool, getting it up, some news that I saw. Robinhood added a new little perk, kind of, which is add a new perk for its gold subscription around mortgages. Exclusive mortgage rate 0.75% lower than the average. Seems like they're partnering with this, Sage Home Loans, a company. This seems like it's more of like a partnership, an outside thing that they're just taking a cut from, as opposed to a full new feature set that they're putting internally. So yeah, it may be similar to what they're doing with the prediction markets. I also do have opinions about the prediction markets. One or two things on the negative side, like there's money that I would have put it more towards investing that now I have lost gambling, thanks full on sports betting on Robinhood now. So that's a little bit more than I want to say. And I'm probably gonna bet tonight. I think I'm gonna take the Pacers. We'll
Well, so that's
see.
the thing. If you have money in there and you lose some of the money trying to do these prediction markets, you're likely to probably put more money in there, especially if you lose money out of your portfolio. I've seen people that said, "Okay, I don't want to lose money in my actual portfolio. Let me open up a separate account for this, like and fund that and do it that way." Probably makes sense, honestly. If you have a that degen kind of gambler, for fun type of side to you, probably segregating that money from your long-term portfolio on Robinhood into a
But I don't
separate
think you can
account
do that. I don't
probably
think
makes sense.
if you're just using Robinhood, I don't think you can segment it into two different accounts.
I think you can open a second account and fund the
I
second
don't think
account.
so.
I I, I
Someone
don't
needs
know.
to
We'll
show
have
me
to
this.
check that
Let me
out.
know in the chats if I'm wrong, because that would fix so much problems for me. I need to get my options trading out of this account. God, I'm a terrible trader.
I don't know. Tesla was a big. You know what they do to you? This is
Speaking
what happened to
of,
me when I first started talk. I'm really interested to see where Tesla opens up here in an hour. By the way, um, but that happened to me like when I first got into trading. I had a couple trades that were like whatever, and then I hit one really big trade, and kind of like you did recently with Tesla, and I was like, okay, like let's take some of those gains, let's start spreading this out and trying more. And then I went on a cold streak for a little while too. But I was early in my trading career. That's how they get you. You get that big taste of success. Probably one of the worst things that can happen to a trader, a young trader. I haven't
yeah,
been watching any Tesla updates. I was watching all those live streams earlier. Did you check out any of those, Evan?
yeah, it seems to be going well. I've been watching Sawyer's channel. He posted his whole first ride. Let me just share my screen again. Look through Sawyer's page a little.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
posted his full first ride here. We also posted to the GigaCast channel. He's doing his 6th ride of the day.
$4.20, Evan. Pretty cheap.
So I was watching Sawyer's video. He was saying that the reason they were doing that is to test the payments network. Some people were commenting like, "Oh, they made them go out there and then didn't do it for free," which makes sense. But that is what I heard is, hey, we want to test the payments network. Is that true? Is it not? I don't think the
Take 10
$4.20 is
rides,
not
it
moving
costs
the
you 40
needle.
bucks. No, it makes sense.
So Tesla Robotaxi is really nice, good design, easy to use, blah blah blah. Any bugs? The whole Tesla Robotaxi team was kind of meeting up. I saw that photo. This is one that I thought was showing off interesting. That I thought was
Yeah, that was
interesting
cool.
earlier.
The command
Yeah,
center. That one was cool. There's another picture of Elon just elated in the background of a selfie type of picture.
it
I'm trying to
was it
remember.
this one?
Yes, that one. Look at Elon. Just zoom into
El-
Elon. Did you see? Look
elated.
at
That doesn't look so
yeah.
elated to me. He looks happy.
That's an
That's Elon
Elon
elated.
elated.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
come on.
But yeah, we're about an hour away from that. I'm excited for the individual stocks opening up. That's what I'm really looking forward
I
to.
want to see where Tesla's at, and then I want to see where some of these other things open. It's also when we start to get a little bit more action because, like I was saying earlier, that's when the Asian markets get going a little bit too. So, yeah, we'll see what happens then. Am I from Colorado? No, I'm from the greatest state ever
New York?
dreamt of.
In New York.
I am excited to go to New York in 3 weeks. Evan,
Um,
could you ever take a ride anywhere for $4.20 in New
in New
York?
York, no.
Can you
I
rent a
wouldn't even
line
get to
scooter
like
for that?
yeah, I guess I could have. I wonder how much the city bikes are. I'll let you know. Maybe that's a good video of like how far can I get on a city bike how far can I get for with $4.20? Let's take this off. What do we think of Tesla though? Olivia, I'm watching this. My long-term thought on Tesla is that this is a stock that I am personally bullish on. You know, will I be right? Will I be wrong? Well, time will tell. Yeah, I think they're moving in the right direction. I think AI, innovation, tech, robotics is moving pretty quickly, quicker than people think. And Elon, Zuckerberg have their kind of mind in the right way. So I think that's why when I was talking to him earlier, like the QQQs, the Q Top, the VOO, like these names are filtering towards the top, and you're getting a lot of that benefits in there. So it takes away some of those single stock risks. But yeah, I think they're going in the right direction. The strategy that they have seems to be better than Waymo. Waymo has to pay 100,000 plus for each of these cars. These are the Tesla ones that they're making vertically integrated.
I
So
think the biggest thing that you have now with Tesla is you have the proof of concept. Like that's obviously any new technology that is being worked on and gets up to a release point. It's what a lot of people look for is proof of concept. Like let's see this thing actually in action. Let's see it actually work. Can you get to that point? I think that's a milestone point. And not only did Tesla hit that today, Tesla also hit that with a technology that's brand new basically to the world, right? This is in my opinion, a revolutionary type of technology that they are bringing to the world right now. And so to me, that is it's proof of concept with a revolutionary technology that could be just a complete game changer. Could be, obviously, I'll say could be in there on the speculation side of things. But the fact that you have proof of concept, you've seen it work. I watched multiple live streams today where a Tesla Model Y drove itself from point A to point B with passengers using an app, getting in the back. There is a safety monitor is the term that they're calling these guys. They're directed not to engage or talk with the passengers at all. They're literally just sitting there. They have no pedals, they have no controller in their hand. They're just sitting there like a chaperone almost. Honestly, my opinion on that, I think that these safety monitors are more for protecting the car from the passengers than anything, honestly. I mean, it makes sense to me to have somebody in there kind of supervising what's going on, just in general with the entire process. But honestly, the fact that people don't jump in the car and try to get in the front seat, take a video of that, try to get in the driver's seat, do anything like that. It honestly makes sense to kind of have a little chaperone type of person in there starting out. But they're not doing anything. They're not controlling the car unless they've got some kind of. I watch these videos. There's unless I can see if somebody wants to have a conspiracy theory that somebody at the headquarters is controlling these cars, whatever. You have no proof of that either. What I have watching is I have a Tesla car driving itself from point A to point B, not having any issues, no person sitting in the driver's seat at all. So like to me, that's a monumental type of moment. I think it's really cool. And then I'll be right back.
Loki, I'm also eating in the background. A chicken Caesar wrap. Quite basic. Quick water sip on mute, and then I'm going to come back. Nice. So, on the Tesla Robotaxi launch, in 10 vehicles, first day, nothing matters what's going to happen. They're getting the proof of concept out there. Some of those arguments, teleoperated, blah, 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 those are going to go away pretty quickly over time as there are hundreds of rides going on at the same time. If anyone has played video games, it is not possible to strike 100 for 100, 1,000 for 1,000. You're going to hit something. You're going to crash. For anyone who's played GTA, even if you're not trying to hit something, you're going to hit something eventually. So there's no way that these are teleoperated. Just no way. Jose. We are now 3 minutes from being an hour away. We're an hour and 3 minutes. Wonderful time. Yeah. Nikkei futures are down a tiny bit. That is the Japanese markets. I appreciate you all for being here, by the way. If you're watching on Twitters and the X, make sure you're following myself, Wolf, Emp, everything like that. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Give the video a like. I was going through the point on Tesla, like if these are teleoperated, the more scale you get. If you've ever played a video game, no one's shooting 100, no one's shooting 10,000 for 10,000 driving perfectly in a video game. And so, yeah, there's no way. Especially, and that will kind of be shown improving.
I would argue it's harder to drive Tele than it is in the actual. I feel like that would actually be more difficult.
So we'll say. Yeah, that is a lot of what was going on. More comments. More comments.
Quiet right now.
Too quiet. What's this? Oh yeah, you can talk about that if you want.
What is it?
Shout out to Vista Shares. For anyone who's in here, I don't know. We work with a bunch of companies. Vista Shares is one of them. They have some interesting products out there. This is your money. This is your investing. You should definitely look into it. But these are some names that might be interesting. They got the Wild ETF. OMAH is an interesting one. Basically, they're taking it's like Omaha. It's taking Warren Buffett's largest holdings, Berkshire Hathaway, and then a bunch of the top 15 and doing covered call strategies on them. You could dig deeper, but investing like Warren Buffett with a little bit of income on top of it is the strategy there. And they have some other stuff. Shout out to Vista Shares.
I was asking them about this the other day. They actually hold 10% of Berkshire in this ETF. I think it's interesting there. The Wild one though, this new one that they've come out with, this is the one that's it's brand new. This one's really interesting to me. So they basically take high beta names each month and put them as 2x leverage each. So like if you think of this as you're getting 40% exposure to each one of these names, so it's basically a 2x leverage, but it's spread across all five. You have Meta, which I know you like Meta right now, Evan. You have MicroStrategy, of course, Palantir, Tesla, and SMCI. They have a whole like strategy here of how they've built this, but this is a really interesting one to me. And once again, just putting this on your radar, like Evan said, Vista Shares. I really like what the team's doing over there, where they have these different ETFs at. The other one, it's AIS, just real quick. AIS, this is basically your picks and shovels of AI. I mean, I'm bullish AI. what I've done, I've gone into this list and been like, okay, I need to research some of these companies. So like, some of these we know Nvidia, we know Taiwan Semi, we even know Micron. Most of us know Micron or Marvell. Some of these other ones I started digging into Vertiv. I started digging into Nutanix, and I was like, okay, what do these companies do? Why are these not on my radar? So it's like, okay, I've learned more about AI and who's kind of making AI happen, and then also I have professionals that are going in and building these portfolios around it. So something to put on your radar: AIS, Wild, OMAH. Is that Omaha? I cannot. I feel like it's a stipulation that I say the Peyton Manning Omaha every time we do that. But yeah, just shout out to VistaShares. Go to vistashares.com. You can check them out right there. Do a little due diligence deep dive. Market is going sideways, holding in. This is what I want to see, if it's going to make another push, or if this is kind of that consolidation to come find some more support down here. We did come in. So like I was saying earlier, you see, I can just put this right here. This yellow line, that is the low we made on Friday on NQ. And you can see right where we're having some trouble. This is what I was talking about earlier. Right where we're having a little trouble is right at this low of day from Friday. This is a 15-minute chart here. If I go over to ES, I drew this yellow line right at that 6,000 psychological line. But if I go right here, you can see once again, right at the low of day Friday, we're having a little bit of trouble here as we come into this area. That's where some shorts are being interested in getting back into the market. Obviously, anybody that was long down here maybe bought this. The first, main target was probably coming back into the previous day's range. So very interesting. Not a whole lot of movement. Not a whole lot of headlines or anything coming out. Obviously, we'll keep our eyes on that. I haven't seen really any developments at all out of Israel, Iran, or the White House since we've started this stream. Really, most of the afternoon, other than that True Social post I mentioned a little bit earlier on regime change.
Yeah, and one thing you want to look out here, there's so many people getting a lot of stuff wrong right now around Iran and Israel, so I'm kind of sitting back, like one or two people. I've been watching this guy for a little bit, OSINT Defender, so I think his page is pretty solid. But I'd rather just wait for it rate to be right, wait to be facts, then we'll go from there. Obviously, yesterday it came out on Trump's Truth Social, which is kind of crazy that nothing got out. Reports there was a lot of jamming in the region, but nothing got out before Trump came in and said it, which I find to be very interesting.
Yeah, and I don't know that we ever saw. I know I didn't see any actual like videos or real photos of the event. I didn't really look today a whole
No,
lot, but a lot of
there was
them
some
going
that came
around
up
last
today.
night. Okay, yeah. But my point here is more towards last night. There wasn't much coming out, and the ones that were mostly uh, from other instances. People love to take a big explosion and put a picture up there on the internet and label Iran or something on it for engagement. Obviously, we know quick
It
fact
looks a lot
checks.
less crazy. You could kind of see like that's where they hit.
Mm,
That is literally what it looks like.
this looks like the movie Holes. Good movie.
Big bombs. It is a good movie.
Bunker Busters. I did think it was interesting. Some of the we sent some Tomahawk missiles from submarines. Apparently, was what was reported, as well as those B-52s that dropped the bunker busters. And yeah, kind of waiting to see. I think the world is waiting to see what Iran is going to do next. And Israel, I think, had a couple little smaller strikes again. They're basically going after infrastructure stuff, it seems like, at this point. But I think the world essentially is waiting on Iran's response to the U.S. now getting directly involved. That's probably the thing that's the most crazy to me, is the fact that we have direct involvement in a conflict by the U.S. All right, we got a little bit of a hanging man candle here. Let's see if we turn around and get back down a little bit lower here.
By the way, I just put it in the chat both
reversal type of pattern.
I put it in the chat on X and YouTube. But go check out my free daily recap if you're in here. Easiest way to keep up with the stock market every day. Put out all the biggest headlines, what to expect for the next day, how the market did that day. Go check it out. It's in the chat where both of you guys are on right now, where everyone is. But I appreciate you. And do you still have that short play?
Yeah. First one I got stopped out of, but I put
Ooh.
another one on. Actually, right in this exact region where this yellow, my average is actually like right in the 760 area. So that exact region. So I'm back positive here. Let's see if we can get a little bit lower here, get to the 720s. This is VWAP down here, but I'd like to test this area again and see what holds here. Same concept here on ES would be about that 59.91 to 59.90.
Wonderful news. I love it.
Beautiful, the best.
Some more water.
Bitcoin's pushing a little bit higher. It's back at 100,800.
Yeah, let me check a couple more.
So here's the look on oil. So oil pulling back, and you're seeing it dipped into this previous high here, but it's catching some support, and this 15-minute candle is trying to engulf to the upside here. So if it gets back over here, oil should get a move up. If it rejects right here, that's actually a good sign for, I guess, in general, for oil to come back down. What's gold doing? Gold's still coming down. It's interesting. I mentioned Bitcoin. Let me go to the Bitcoin chart. Bitcoin pushing up here. Some nice candles here on Bitcoin coming back into previous day's low again. So this is where you look as a trader, you look for acceptance back into this area, which means if it comes up and does something like this, that looks good for continuation. If it starts to reject here and come back down, that's starts to confirm a rejection of a previous day's range. You are seeing some buyers stepping in still. As soon as it looks like it's going to get rough, they're stepping back in. See RTY mentioned down there in the comments.
Justin also wants to know what trade you're in. None of your business. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. So I can actually just draw it right here on the screen. I am short here with a stop right up here. And I have profit targets all the way spread out down in this area. So this is what the trade looks like. Currently up 14 points.
I'm excited for this game tonight too. Who do you think's gonna win? You basketball guy?
I think OKC wins. It made sense that Indiana gave it their last shot to give a push to get it to Game 7. Game 7 made sense for these two evenly matched teams. I think OKC is just a little bit better overall, and obviously the Halliburton calf is the question mark. What's he look like tonight after a few more days of rest? We'll see. I don't know. I like OKC to win it all tonight at home. They have the home court advantage, obviously. The game back out there in OKC, but we'll see. I think it's going to be a fun one to watch. I don't think there's a clear
for sure.
They're favored either way. I'll probably put a bet in, honestly.
They probably will too.
What's the prediction
I'm
market?
probably gonna lose money
Have
too.
you pulled up? Let me pull it up on my phone here. I'm
look.
curious.
I might I'll probably lose money, but I want to put money on Indiana. It's probably going to be like 70. Yeah, it's 69 cents for OKC, 31 cents for Indiana.
Interesting.
OKC is going to come out tough. It's going to be like 15-4, 15-6.
Have you seen how much volume is on this? Like everyone trying to buy the dip. There are 19 million
19 million
on Indiana and just 9 million on OKC. That's traders. If you ask me, that is 100% traders looking at this as an opportunity of, okay, if I put in something at 30 cents, I have a chance to, basically 2x my money. Versus if I buy something at 69 cents, like the best gain I can get is 30% gain.
Some call it traders, some call it degens. Potato, potato.
Well, some traders are degens, some degens are traders.
John says Israeli indexes were up 1.5 to 2.5% today. Just saying. Last week when that happened, we did have a green day coming off of it. I think that's what he's trying to signal there. All the small things. That's not Green Day, is it? I don't want to get copyrighted here. I'm not good at singing, I know.
Yeah, I think we just got flagged. I was pulling up the world indices just to see what they look like.
Austria.
Which you can see these aren't
China.
open.
Israel's weekend is Friday and Saturday.
New Zealand is open.
So it makes sense for it to be open today.
I'll learn my alphabet real fast.
A, B, C, D.
They may already be.
Yeah,
they should be opening soon. Well, this is what they were. They're currently closed. You see the red clocks over here.
Okay. Well, they might have been open today.
So they're probably. What time is it over there right now?
But it's going to be like 1 a.m. You're right. So it's closed right now. But their weekend is Friday and Saturday.
Right. Yeah, they have a Sunday open because
this was yesterday.
It's a religious thing,
today.
actually.
Yeah.
So what they did on the previous trading session, which was their Sunday, was up anywhere from 1.5% to 2.5%. Of course, they're different indices.
DJ
current
Suave.
DJ Suave.
DJ. We'll see. Tesla. We're gonna see how the stock moves though in 47 minutes.
New Zealand's the only one that's open so far. So, like I said, about 45 minutes, I believe, we'll get the Nikkei opening over in Japan. Those Asian markets start getting going, and we'll see what happens there. Somebody mentioned this in the chat, RTY being a good short. That was a pretty good back test right there, and it's getting the follow through a little bit sooner than what I'm seeing on some of these other names. ES is starting to do it a little bit.
I don't know if I've done too many bigger live streams on X. We're at 20,000 views so far.
Yeah, everyone's checking in. I mean, did you go through a full Catalyst watch? I know you mentioned some of the PCE, some of those things. I was curious, sometimes there's little events that I just don't have on my radar until Lux Algo. Has Lux Algo posted yet?
Full Catalyst watch. All right. I love doing this each week. We went through it a little bit earlier. Let's go through it again a little bit deeper now. Get ready for the week in the stock market. Full Catalyst watch to help you get prepared. First thing up, that looks horrible. Monday. Seeking Alpha makes this part of the Catalyst watch. Looking through it, conflict Israel-Iran will be the front and center topic for the entire week. IPO watch. I don't know. I don't watch IPO as much, but if you do, there is one coming. JCap. Earnings watch. Dividend watch. Flash Global June PMI. Samsara Beyond event will begin, so IoT may be on watch. And then existing home sales. Tuesday. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Notable companies to report earnings is FedEx and Carnival. We'll look at that a little bit later. HPE CEO Antonio Neri will deliver a keynote for an event, so watch out that. We were talking about this earlier. Jerome Powell will testify in front of the Senate. Now, historically, how this has gone, and it goes every year. This happens twice a year. He's going to talk in front of the House and the Senate. He is going to do a 10-minute, 2 to 5 minute speech before. That is going to be the same both days. Not going to say anything. He's then going to get asked a lot of questions. 80% of this time is going to be political pandering. Everyone's going to hate him, and you're not going to learn anything from it. So there might be 1 or 2 headlines from this, but it's going to be at the cost of literally 4 hours of listening to political BS. I would just avoid looking at this one and wait for the headlines. Jerome Powell testifying in front of the House on Tuesday, the Senate on Wednesday. These normally happen at 10 a.m. Eastern, and I believe I want to say it's like 1-2, but I don't know. I could be wrong. Traders will be watching 2-day NATO summit at The Hague. CF Industries will hold Investor Day. Notable earnings. No, notable companies due to appear at the Northland Growth Conference. I don't really know many of those. S&P K Schiller, Fed president. Expect a lot of Fed presidents speaking this week. That was Wednesday. Okay, Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday, Micron earnings. I'm excited for that. We'll talk a little bit more. Equinix holding an investor day and analyst day. If you don't know what Equinix is, they actually build data centers, maintain data centers. Actually kind of interesting. Second day of Powell's press conference, R&D event there. NVIDIA will host its annual meeting of shareholders. Not crazy much amount of news comes out of normal annual shareholder meetings normally. But it could be something to watch. Jensen Huang might talk there. I don't know, actually. Quick water set. Watch out for that, though, at 2 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. You probably want to keep it on your radar.
You say Jensen speaks this week?
I'm not sure. I am not sure, actually. Ooh. I'll have to look in a second. Let me dig into a minute. Nike reports earnings on Thursday. Genpact will hold an investor day. Another day of Fed speak. And then CRNX will hold an in-person event. I don't even know what that is. Friday, that looks horrible. PCE, that's a big one to watch. Federal Reserve will release the result of its annual bank stress tests. The release has been... So I believe, if I remember correctly, what's happened in the past is during this, they would then kind of release some controls that are a little lightened. And then the banks did a lot of share buybacks and dividends. That might have been a slightly different event, so don't quote me on that. But I don't know. That might be interesting. And then post-market, the annual Russell Index reconstruction becomes effective. So I guess this was already announced. And then off of that, the changes are going to be made. So these were some of the earnings we were talking about. Carnival, morning Tuesday. FedEx, afternoon Tuesday. Micron, earnings Wednesday after the close. Nike, Thursday after the close. We also have Walgreens, Boots Alliance, rest in peace, going bankrupt. General Mills. There's a few other ones. It's actually a little blurry. Then we have the macro calendar for the week. Shout out GoMoon for making this. It's actually really interesting. If you're a trader, they have a lot of great information on estimates, like what to expect, the actual numbers. It's an intriguing one. We have a lot of Fed presidents speaking this week. As I was saying earlier, the Fed's blackout window is over. It ended as of Friday, actually. So now we have this entire week, a lot of Fed presidents. A lot of these people, we're going to hear for the first time after the Fed meeting how they feel about the markets. We watched the dot plot, which told us where different Fed presidents expect the rates to end up coming in at. And we're going to kind of, reverse engineer who was where. I believe there was 8 that expect no cuts this year. There was 2 that expect 1 cut. There were 7 that expect 2 cuts. And I think that was it. 0, 1, 2. There was another bound of people. Maybe it was 3 cuts? No way.
How many of them do you expect to start pandering, trying to get the job? I feel like that's what we saw
I wouldn't.
from.
I don't know. I actually
Waller.
don't know. I've not been around from that too much, so I have no opinion there. Quickly looking at some more of these data points, like we said, PCE Friday morning, 8:30 a.m. Eastern. That's a big one to watch. And I also think you should be watching GDP, which is 8:30 a.m. Eastern on Thursday. And this is on my thread on my pin post on X. Look into it. But yeah, that's a lot of the Catalyst watch. I feel like I've spoken for a good long while, and I gave you. Was my screen showing that whole time? Oh, I hope so. Any comments did we get during that? Not really. Yeah, hopefully you guys were able to see my screen there. Imagine like I'm muted and you can't see my screen. I just did a whole 10-minute soliloquy to myself. Emp?
Sorry, I was muted trying to talk back to you just now.
Okay, good.
Your screen was up the entire time. You were good.
Good.
Your screen was up the entire time. I was pulling up my one of my calendars that I go through, just seeing what I had on my watch list for data. I think it will be interesting. Some of these Fed speakers, and where'd the tariff talks go? That's the other. I guess maybe
That's
there's
true.
an out in the way of Trump saying, "Well, I had to go save the Middle East. I had to save the world." World War III was gonna happen. I stopped it.
If it wasn't for me, it'd be
So
much worse.
yeah, of course. Which that piece is very interesting. Of the there wouldn't be he made all these comments during his campaign about these wars wouldn't have happened and stuff, and then now here I'm sure he'll spin it however he wants to spin it, of course. But here we are involved, quote unquote, involved in a conflict after one of his big campaign pushes was to
No new
keep us out of
conflicts.
any conflicts.
Yeah.
I don't know, just something I've noticed.
Don't shoot the
I'm,
messenger.
no, I'm just a messenger. I'm just a messenger. What time does this game start at the same time that
Probably 8, 10. Yeah,
after
that's how it's been
hours?
going.
Yeah.
Why? Like guys, East Coast is what matter. We don't do 8 p.m. games. But yeah.
The funniest tweet I saw last night was when Trump in the White House announced the 10 p.m. Like whatever
We're doing war
statement.
we're doing war on their time. Big L. Is that what we're
No,
doing?
no, so somebody said, "What is this, a Pac-12 game? What the hell are we doing?" That one cracked me up.
That is funny. I
That was the
think
best tweet I saw last night from a
by the
joke
way, I don't know.
standpoint.
I don't know how many live streams I've done on X, but we got 20K viewers on this one, which is freaking awesome. So I appreciate you guys. That's sick. I didn't know, and we've been holding pretty strong on the YouTubes as well, like in that like 30 to 40 range. Which I know, obviously, we're talking like different numbers, but I really want to get that YouTube going. So I appreciate y'all for being here, hanging out, and talking in the chat. It's actually made this a lot easier. Like it's actually gone by pretty quickly, and sometimes these live streams, when you got no one to talk to, especially when you're by yourself, can be difficult. So I just want to say I appreciate y'all. I don't know. This might be the first time getting over 20,000 viewers. I could be wrong on one of mine. Maybe I'm fully off. I don't know, but it feels like a lot.
So most I've seen on a single account. Even there was a couple times where we were live for long periods of time and we didn't quite get to this number. We got close, but those were like 3-4 hour streams. But I'm watching several things over here, Evan. I don't know what's like the biggest thing on your radar. Obviously, there's sports
I
stuff
got a
going
couple
on.
options that expire this Friday. You want to look into them? We got Boeing and I got Warner Bros. Discovery.
Mm. Boeing, I actually picked up a little bit the other day whenever they were essentially cleared, which I think it was this day. One of these days, they were essentially like cleared of
It was Friday.
not
I think it was Friday.
I don't want to say cleared, but like there was reports that came out that Boeing. I'm trying to remember the exact headline. I don't have it in front of me.
It sounded
But
like they were cleared. Like
they
maybe it was
were,
like they did
yeah.
tests of everything else and there was no problems. I don't know. That
The
might have been what it
preliminary
was.
reports didn't show like any like crazy like mechanical failure on. I mean, obviously there was some type of major failure, but it didn't seem like there was any out of the ordinary type of things going. They're still investigating, obviously, over there in what was it, India, I believe. But it was something that came out of the India. It was a positive note. I'll put it at that. But Boeing making a great run, pulling back, kind of consolidating here, right around this $200. I mean, you look left a little bit, you see it's hanging out in a good spot. It really is. But we'll see. What was the other? You said was it Warner Brothers? What is that? No, what is it?
WBD. Yeah, it was Warner Bros. Discovery.
There it is. I mean, the chart's just been just getting destroyed forever, but you have a positive catalyst. What day did you buy this? Was it this day? And then it, like, came back to life?
Um,
I think you bought it on this big red candle day because it like gapped up open up here and you like bought in this area and it's like
yeah, I
come
might
right
have
back to where
no,
you
it might
bought
have been
it.
a little bit earlier. What time frame is this? I can't see.
This is the daily. So like where I'm highlighting right here
Oh,
is where we opened. This is right here. That's where we opened on that day the news came out because we gapped up like crazy, pulled all the
yeah,
way
I
back
did buy
down
it
and
there,
so the
but I
next day.
also I rebought this probably like on that green candle day, not that one to the right.
This one,
Probably that one. Yeah,
past Monday.
yeah. I think that's when I did it for this current one, right after they would have expired.
I mean, if it can clear this $11 range, like it can make some moves for sure. That's
I'm
interesting.
gonna
What
try
was
and
the
look at this
story?
this webcast last year.
What was the storyline
They're
behind it?
splitting the company. They're splitting the company into different
Into the
parts.
production side and like like the production
Yeah, it's
studios.
like there's like the cable side of it, the more like high debt, like profitable but slow growing area, and then like they're gonna try and maybe unleash the more faster growing area with a little bit less debt.
I've got like one eye still watching like Elon, a lot of his Tesla stuff going. I've got definitely one eye all over the news right now, which is very slow. There's nothing is really no developments are coming out at all right now. It is still middle of the night in Iran, so kind of makes sense, but it's also the time that attacks have been happening. So keep an eye over there. Got an eye ready for some sports here in a little bit. I don't know. Uh, I think my main thing, I definitely want to see with all the Tesla stuff going on. I want to see where Tesla opens up. I want to see, like you were saying, just in general with the market down. I mean, we are down at 3%, 0.4% from Friday's close. So, I mean, if you look at all of Friday's action here, we're really not down that far, like at all. I mean, obviously we gapped down decently far, but we've fought our way back. I mean, acceptance is the main thing that I watch for to get back. If we get back over this area and hold back up into here, it's a really good sign for a resilient market, which we have seen multiple times lately. The other thing is like where are some of these names open? And for me especially, I'm really curious where Tesla's going to open up the 24-hour trading. As you know, we've just had a live look at multiple robo taxis.
I was looking at Tesla, Nvidia's annual shareholder meeting, and I can't see any confirmation that Jensen Huang's going to be speaking there for sure. But it looks like he's going to. This also says it's going to be at noon Eastern, not at 2 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, nothing there. It's going to be like a 30-minute webcast. It sounded like the first part, corporate stuff, and then the second half might have been Jensen Huang speaking there, but I don't want to fully confirm it because I don't know 100%. I'm kind of upset that like I really wish that X gave us data on like how many live people are listening right now. They only tell you that after. But that'd be good to know. Do you trade any altcoins or crypto? I own a little bit of Bitcoin, Ethereum, some others, but not much for me. Do you, Em? I'm gonna take that as a no.
It just started lagging
Okay,
out
you're
just for
good.
a
Do you
second
trade
there. I'm back.
Bitcoin or crypto or altcoins or anything?
Not often at all. Every once in a while, I'll take a Bitcoin trade. I don't touch other crypto as far as trading.
That's fair.
I actually don't. I know some people like to trade it. I think from my hands between futures and then like individual stock names. So I don't want to myself out too thin.
That is fair. I do hear you lagging a little, but you're good. Oh damn. The screen still looks pretty good. Yeah, now I see you getting a little annoyed. It's okay. We heard like 90% of
Yeah,
that. I would
I
have
don't
cut
know
you
what's
off.
going on.
And I want to check if it was on my end.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
saying the
just
stream health is pretty strong.
yeah, mine's bouncing a little bit right now. And I don't know why. It is storming here, so
I didn't think there would be that many storms. High and dry would be my thought.
how is it like record heat in the Northeast
No,
right
New York,
now?
not New
I think I
York.
saw
No,
like the in New York. There's like
no,
somewhere I
it's
saw
kind
there's
of.
like a huge heat wave coming, and like
Apparently, it's really hot in Austin. Like, no, it's not that crazy here. I would not like normal to hot. I mean, it's not cold. If this is a heat wave,
it's high
bunch
is
of
like
pussies.
65 here today.
It was like a high of 80, I think. 85. It's 86 right now, actually. So it's probably like 90 something earlier. Maybe there is a little bit of a heat wave, actually. That's kind of warm.
I'm going to Arkansas next week, and the heat index is like over 100 right now.
Arkansas. Nice. Wonderful state.
I guess
Great
it's this
state.
week. I'm leaving on Wednesday.
Beautiful state.
Great state. Creators of Walmart, the greatest American company.
Yeah, at this point though, I'm excited to see how these 24-hour markets open. I'll sell that for probably another like 45 minutes. And then getting started too. Get that on in the background. Maybe the last part of the stream just turns into us live betting the markets. Losing all my money. Yeah, YouTube viewers have been pretty decent. And I want to do a lot more of YouTube live streaming, by the way. So I've talked to Tanner to try and get maybe one or two there. We got the stuff with Brad. Hopefully one or two things with you. Should be getting like 3 or 4 nice, good, high quality live streams out a week. And then build from there. I can't hear you.
Yeah, my connection's being weird right now, but I love this Futures Open stream. Like, get ready for the week. What are futures doing? I think it's a great time slot.
This is good. And then honestly, the more we do it, it will build up over time. We'll get some good chat. We got a great chat for that first hour and a half. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you. K9 FPV saying the market is lame mode tonight. Yeah. So sometimes the morning will be a little bit more. This part will have a lot more going on, but
since we don't have a direct catalyst right now, it makes sense, right? For the market to start reacting, I think you have to get 24-hour markets open in Asia. Markets have to start opening. That is where you'll see a little bit more froth in the market, at least initially, coming off of a weekend like this.
A wonderful weekend. It was a great weekend. Great weekend. No, I didn't do anything crazy. Futures seem like we're gonna. Let me double check back in on futures. They actually look a lot better than they did at the start.
It's starting to look like a flag, like it wants to test back up into this area.
Is this 24-hour markets, individual stocks, going to push us there?
It can, for sure. At least it can. It definitely. I mean, I watch this stuff like every day, right? And obviously, the 24-hour markets never really close during the week, but the after hours. So the after hours trading closes at 8 p.m. Eastern, which is the same time we see Asia open. And there's usually some type of spike, maybe a pivot around that time. So that's what I'm. That's what I'm watching for here in about 26 minutes. We'll see. We'll see what happens, and then Asia will get going. It'll do its thing, and then the next real big key pivot is London, the London session around 3 to 4 Eastern. We also will get those pre-market things open. So I'm really curious, like, how does Tesla react to this? How do some of these other names react? Do we see defense names in oil move? I mean, you see oil is hanging in here, actually, up 2.6%. Really just stuck at the same. You see this area from where we spiked on Thursday night, and here we are trying to push, right? Trying to push back up a little bit. I mean, if anything, oil looks like a long right here, which is usually inverse of the markets, but right now we see the markets look pretty solid too on this little. So somebody, well, one of these two is going to win this tug of war.
I personally am Team Bulls. Just in general, not looking at the chart or anything.
I do think that the market
Upside
will
is
shake
great.
off this pretty quick. I mean, yeah, if we get a retaliation, maybe we get another like kind of knee-jerk reaction type of move. But we know in the bigger picture that a lot of institutions are offsides. A lot of people in general did not buy. Like you go to the daily chart, We just pull up SPY, for example. We know that this this whole area, a lot of institutions and a lot of people were caught on the sideline, and they've had to chase this. There's been one dip really since we got this stuff going on. There's been one dip right here for people to try to get in on. So I think any type of dip like this into this area is going to get bought up, and it's probably going to get bought up fiercely. Um, Honestly, I think a lot of people are almost cheering for not cheering for world war, don't let that get misconstrued, but I think a lot of people are cheering for some type of dip to get down into this area so that they can start buying us up, and then, you have quell the fears of what's going on in the world, maybe here's some positive news on tariffs at some point that things are getting worked out. The tax bill getting finally if that gets passed, if we have that uncertainty kind of off the table as well down here in this area, maybe even a little undercut here. This is the 50-day moving average, by the way. This is the 200-day. So, like, somewhere in this area, you also have a gap right here that starts. You see this gap fill is coming down to this area. So this area right here is the most interesting to me, and I think that's where you're going to see a lot of people jump into this market. And like I said, it may undercut something here, may undercut here, but there's definitely people waiting, money on the sideline, waiting to get into this market. So we'll see kind of what happens. But in the meantime, we have broke some structure. So like, I know I've kind of drawn this out a few times here, but you basically had a little bit of a let me delete some of this other stuff. That's your consolidation range, but you basically have a rising wedge here that broke down. You see it broke down here on this candle, retested on this green candle, and it's starting to push back down. So just from a technical pattern, that's usually like, okay, broke out of a wedge, you back tested it, now you go move down and you find support. Where is that support here? Is it maybe down here a little bit? We'll see. But just from a technical, you have a technical setup for a pullback. I think a lot of people are going to be eager, maybe more eager than normal, to buy any dip in this area. That's my bigger read on the scenario that we're in right now.
How does it differ for like ES versus NQ? Or is it the same?
I mean, this is SPY. QQQ is pretty similar. QQQ doesn't look as bad. I know I've got crazy amounts of drawings on this, but QQQ doesn't have quite the same. But what you do have is kind of like a slow little arc right here. This candle right here, where it's called a bullish engulfing. So you see the high of this candle and the low of this candle. So you tested to the upside, you failed, and then you came below it and you closed below it. So bullish engulfing usually gets follow through. The other thing that I've from the bullish side of things, though, to note, you see this green line right here. This green line is a 20-day simple moving average. It's a 20-day moving average. The last time we touched it was on the 23rd of April back here. And you see we haven't touched it since then. This is the first time we've touched it. The first time you touch a major moving average, a lot of times buyers step in right there and start buying. So that doesn't mean it has to do this, but that means like you could have buyers like start buying here that hold price in for a little bit too. So it's not always like up or down. Sometimes it's like, okay, price is trying to come down, but you have a bid under the market. So you could have people just in this area just continue to buy the market on each intraday dip. It could just do like this, and you could start getting some of these bottom wicks that you see, like this. You could see that happen as well. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. Tech does look much healthier, but obviously tech is 100 stocks, right? And it's usually the leading stocks. The S&P a little bit more diverse. Um, the S&P did close right under this 20-day moving average, which a lot of times in a technical standpoint, we'd see a wick below or like a undercut of them. What I'm really looking for is an undercut of this. So I'm looking for this 200-day moving average, the red one. I would love to see an undercut of this, and on a reclaim, then it's a hammer long for me in most scenarios. So I would love to see something like that, especially if we get a big bottom wick down here. The 50-day is sitting right on where this gap is sitting. Like that to me is the most mouth-watering setup for any bull, which I know that looks like a far, like that is only a three, was that 3.6% pullback? So from where we closed Friday, it's a 3.6% pullback. That is not, we see 1 to 2% down days, especially in this current market. We've seen, 1 to 2% down days pretty common. That's a 2 to 3 day move, maybe a week-long move at the most. I mean, you could have two red candles, you could have a red candle here and another one here with a big bottom wick on it. That is your buy, like obviously there's a lot of factors that you put into this, but just from the pure technical standpoint of this, that's what I see is I see, okay, we just got the 20-day for the first time. It could absolutely hold here. I mean, SPY was the same way. So SPY's last touch of the 20-day moving average back here on the 24th of April. So it's been 2 months, basically, right at 2 months since we've touched it. A lot of times you get buyers in that area, and that's kind of where we held in. Obviously, external factors, news, uncertainty, FUD, whatever you want to call it. Those things can affect the market, but I would love to see over the next week to 2 weeks just kind of a shallow pullback like this. I mean, it doesn't have to be like aggressive. It could literally be something like this, and then you get down to this area, you fill a gap, you get maybe a big bottom wick, and then that's your opportunity, right? That's the way I'm reading it right now and preparing, you know, uh, accordingly. Now, and if you go to NQ and ES, obviously they trade more time. Um, so like you have a little bit heavier candles, so you see the moving average is a little bit higher. So like you see the 20-day moving average is right up here. So we lost that on NQ, ES, same way. We've lost that up here. Shorts are going to be looking for that area as a back test, honestly, to get short. But that 200-day on ES, basically the low we made tonight. I mean, 959.56. Our low on this wick was 59. That's 3 points off. It's close enough for government work when it comes to a chart and a trailing moving average because we know these are lagging indicators, right? But that's something that I would definitely be paying attention to. We'll see. Gold starting to push back up. We usually see gold push up into the early Asia session, so be watching that. Be watching the key level here is 3,400 is the big level here. Oil, I I feel like you could have key levels all over oil up here because it just hadn't been up here in quite a while. But the fact that you pulled down, you're hanging out right here. You see previous day's high. This green line right here is previous day's high. So if it pushes back up over this, it'd be interesting to see where it can run. But for now, you see it's kind of consolidating right on it. Could go either way right now. Starting to get a little bit of a pullback here. Notice where I drew these lines, which I drew this one earlier. Let me move it back down to where I originally drew it. Right where I drew these lines, so the key levels that we're paused at, we're having a lot of trouble with, but we're not pushing through. So we may need to come back down here and find more buyers, or maybe that's it. Maybe shorts are, you know, one, two, three. Let's see, one, two, three, four. It's the fifth 15-minute candle. That's almost an hour, almost an hour and a half, really. Um, yeah, this right here is about an hour and 15 minutes worth of shorts, like not letting this go any higher. The bears are definitely sitting in this zone. We'll see if they're able to get any follow through, and then where the bulls step in. 15 minutes now until the 24-hour market's open, till the Japan market gets open. So we'll see what happens there. 15 minutes until kickoff as well. Kickoff tip, first tip. Said kickoff. I'm in football mode already, Evan.
I'm excited for football.
I want to know what Robinhood does with football. If I just hope they at least do every Monday night football game. I think that would be a great starting
No, they're
point
gonna
for
do
them.
every game. I think they're gonna do every game.
I don't think they'll have the liquidity for every game. I don't think there'll be enough people that are going to bet on all. How many games are there every weekend? Like 14?
Sorry, what? Yeah, something like that. But there's a
Like
lot of
14 or
people.
15 games per weekend? Yeah, but spreading out, what people are wanting to bet on each one. I think they'll only want to do like the national time slots. If any, I mean, to me, the dream scenario would be if they did Thursday nights, Sunday night football, and Monday night football. The single time slot games would make the most sense to me, at least starting out. That way, if they do Sundays like throughout the day, I think uh, it's gonna be very hard for liquidity to hold up for that. But who knows? Vlad knows better. I'd love to hear what Vlad thinks about that as we get closer to football season.
You see this comment here? It's asking, do you feel the same for in QQQ? Feel the same bounce
Yeah,
in
so
QQ
just to
200?
clarify, I am looking at an SMA, simple moving average, versus an EMA. There's not a huge difference in the two. Actually, let me see. So this
I did.
EMA, this EMA is a 233 is what I use, so it's similar to 200, but you can see where it's at comparatively. But I mean, QQQ, the first shot, I mean, QQQ hasn't even back tested the 200. I mean, even if it's a tough call, right? Because one, the first time you get a shot at this on Nasdaq, I feel like, and look where these two are sitting at. This is the 50-day about to try to cross the 200-day back, which I mean, it crossed to the downside in early April, basically right after we made the lows. If this crosses to the upside, a lot of people use that as a buy signal. And if we somehow test these two at the same time down here, there definitely will be just technical buyers that will step in and buy the market there. The interesting thing will be QQQ is much more volatile because it's only 100 stocks compared to the S&P 500. So like a lot of times if you guys will notice, you'll see QQQ may be down 2% on the day or up 2% on the day, while SPY is up or down just 1 to 1.5. It's obviously a lot more volatile because there's less components to it, so it can move a lot more in each direction. So it's interesting. I like to just paint as full of a picture as I can from both sides.
I did just tweet out the stream link, so I see a couple more people joining us in here. We have the 24-hour markets opening up in about 12 minutes from now. I know we've been saying that a couple of times, but I retweeted it out. Wanted to share that again. So watching that, all these single stocks will begin trading again. Tesla should be really interesting to watch them on the single stocks. All these oil, energy, gas names, they're going to be impacted and moving, my guess. Futures did open up down like what 1% on most of these names, and now it's down 0.3, 0.4. So futures have come back up a little bit. We'll see if this is enough. I'm even seeing Russell 2000. Some of those futures are starting to tick up a little green. Back to red. But and that was delayed. So yeah, we're watching this out. Give us about 10, 11 minutes or so, and that will begin trading. We can even pull up the Robinhoods. Maybe I could pull up Legend. Yeah. You're there. You guys are here on YouTube. You should subscribe. I'm trying to get to the 4,000 watch hours. Watch out, Emp. I'm gonna do it this time. 4,000 watch
Let's do it.
by the end of this month, next month. This stream has gotten 53. Nice. I'm waiting though on the single stock. I got my Robinhood Legend pulled up. Let's get rid of this. Delete that widget. Make this the full size.
Yeah, if you'll go ahead and throw that up once we get close. 10 minutes out on that. 10 minutes out from the Nikkei opening over in Japan.
Skydiver says thank you. Yeah, there's some great analysis there. Shout out, Emp.
Appreciate it. Just I try to call out things as like unbiased as I see them. Like I trade things both directions. Like sometimes I do get in the habit of like I'm cheering for what would be the easiest thing, um, as far as a trader and investor goes. Like I mean, obviously, like if there's something that I could see that just sets up as an easier trade for everyone, then obviously that's what I like. Um, but I can't ignore certain factors. Like first time you touch a moving average after X amount of time, as a trader, I see that from every time frame. I see that there's buyers willing to step in and sellers are getting out of positions. So got to call it out as I see it.
Comment here about Robinhood adding the Nathan's hot dog eating contest on there, which I did see. Joey Chestnut is back and performing in, competing in, whatever we want to call it. Maybe that's when they do. It is all about liquidity and having enough volume and all that stuff there. Still nothing on the macro side, on the geopolitical side, really. Let me look.
There
at
hasn't
here.
been one headline. I mean, I follow multiple sources. I have multiple things pulled up. I really haven't seen one true headline, even like a Wall Street Journal report or an Axios or anything. Literally in the last few hours.
I'm seeing this post saying for like all U.S. citizens, like be cautious, don't like around the world. They normally target this at countries, so that's something, but nothing brand new. Brock wants some look into Cardano versus USD. I don't really look into that though. But that was one of the macro headlines. A lot of photos of Trump last night. Sitting and waiting. Oil prices surged as much as 5.7%. A lot of people finding out for the first time where the Strait of Hormuz is. Pull up ASTS if you want to see a banker bucking geopolitical turmoil, is what this guy says. This is what Eric says. ASTS has been doing well. We'll see how that ends up moving, but I don't know. Comes, goes. There's literally no revenue on this company, so it's a little difficult. Rocket Lab seems a little bit more interesting. There seems to be some more tech underlying it. I don't know. I struggle with ASTS. I'm sorry. Little frowny face. What's happening here?
I was just pulling up the Rocket Lab.
Oh, it's showing like it's okay. It was like showing you doing some stuff. Yeah, 7 minutes until these 24-hour markets open up. We are sitting. We are waiting. I'm excited to see how Tesla moved. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to actually be up. I mean, I've been watching the videos. It seems to be going pretty well. But it's 10 rides, 10 cars going across. It's basically what all these people were already doing. It's Model Ys. But it is the proof of concept. You want to see no crashes this week. I've seen no hiccups. No one's talked about interventions or anything. People might try and move the goalposts, but it seems like robotaxis are here. Now they're at the point right now of kind of where Waymo's out at, and you need to kind of see an exponential breakout. I think the fact that these are, on just Tesla cars that are sold out there that are $35 whatever thousand dollars versus Waymos, which are $100,000 X Jaguar I-Paces, with all their upgrades and stuff, is something that long term seems like a little bit of a better format. And yeah, it's definitely a good proof of concept. You want to see it, and you'd want to see it accelerate relatively quickly. It's definitely quicker than Waymo was, and quite quicker, because you would expect second place, no matter what, will be able to accelerate faster than the first person who really had to innovate and change everything. There's a lot to watch out there. My best guess is Tesla stock is a little up today, actually, compared to more than the market would be my first guess.
I think it'll be up. Just because of what we saw. It went off without a hitch. From what we know. I mean, I feel like if it did, it'd be plastered all over mainstream media at this point. We closed the day basically 322, just for the reference point. So whenever we see Tesla open up here shortly, 5 minutes, 322 is the benchmark for where we closed on Friday.
Add widgets, charts. Nice. All right, I got those up. What's another stock people are caring about? We talked a lot about Hood on here, so I'll have Tesla and Robinhood up. I don't know if anyone has looked at Robinhood Legend before. We'll play around with it a little bit here. Share screen, Robinhood Legend. What does it look like when I do that? You can't see it when I switch screens. Perfect. This is what I got pulled up. I'm waiting. 5-minute candles. What'd you say Tesla closed at? Is it this 3227?
322, yeah. So it was 322.16 was the official close. After hours was 322.71.
You know what's funny? Sometimes I mess around and draw some lines and stuff. Let's see what this one is.
Okay, let's go.
I got
That's
a
a
couple on here.
daily.
Look at this. So I was just drawing some levels. I was playing around with some areas, which might be like, and this one was a rough one. Goes back there. This one going there. This one on top of it of where you might want to see it go. What do you think? Great lines, beautiful lines. I'm just playing. I was just having
The
fun.
best lines we've ever seen. I mean, 320, 330, 320, 330, 333. That area is a big area. Obviously, 340 to 350 is a big area.
It's got to be easier way to reset that. Yeah, getting ready for this. Grab is what we also want pulled up to. Oh wait, where's Grab's close? 457. It looks like it's a little below its close. This is weird. Oh, this is like I don't care. We'll look into Grab. How does it look though? I'm curious if you guys can like actually see it. Maybe I should do one closer.
Zoom in the chart a little bit closer. Just in the charts and stuff. Since you're on a 5-minute chart, you need to pull it in a little closer or go to a 15-minute chart.
I'm not looking to get like value out of it though. I'm just looking to look how it
Yeah,
looks.
just so we can see like what it looks like. It'll probably reset, especially if it jumps up like Tesla, for example. If it jumps up, $5-10 a share, it'll reset your entire thing.
It'll look. I want to see it, but I think it might. I think we might get a little fat jump here. The beautiful lines, great lines, the best lines. All right, 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Oh, okay. Wait, I was looking somewhere else. Tesla and Robinhood. What's another one that people might care about? Geopolitical stuff. What? I feel like there might be indexes. Are they trading right now?
I mean, SPY.
No,
I would.
I
I
don't
mean,
think this.
a lot of people do better because, obviously, I'm a futures trader. I understand futures pretty well, but I think the average person probably understands SPY or QQQ much better.
Is SPY moving right now?
No,
59531.
it won't move until 90
Gotcha.
seconds.
Death Note says Google. Yeah, drop the stocks you guys want us to look in the chat, and then once we get to the open, the 24-hour open, we'll start to look through them. I see Grab and Google. They had a couple others. Come on, Honeywell. We had Zeta as well, but that feels just like a penny stock name. I don't even know it.
Is that supposed to be Meta? I don't know.
All right. We'll zoom in on the Teslas. We are 1 minute away.
I don't know what Zeta is. Oh, it's a software company. Oh, it's a
Probably like a meme one.
3 billion market cap, pretty small. I don't know that. Zeta Global Holdings Corp. Not for that.
I've heard it a little bit.
Is that what's going around everyone's timeline this weekend, like Oscar was last week? I saw a comment there from Brian.
Nah, this one's been around for a little.
All right,
Maybe.
your
That'd be
open.
funny. All right. 3. That was some sort of wick there. 323. And would you say we closed that?
322. Where'd that wick go? 330. So wow.
I think it was like 322.70 or something. So we're actually moving lower now on that one.
Let's see.
Any big movers here? Hood. Pull it down and
Another
gap.
thing you got to do is compare it to what the market itself is doing. So SPY officially overnight 0.32, QQQ 0.5 at this open here on the overnight trading, 24-hour trading for Robinhood and others. Tesla's basically at break even right now. We are seeing the futures.
Brian says Zeta. Brian says Zeta is supposed to be the next
That's what I
Oscar.
was
So this is what
saying.
we're doing. We're getting
Well, that's what
behind
I was
it.
asking. I was like, okay, is this the one that's been going around? I haven't noticed this on my timeline, but a lot of times you see like a certain stock just blow up for the timeline. Oscar was last weekend
1469.
or late last week.
Oh, a little move higher, 1490. I don't know. We'll look at that one. Oscar.
I don't know.
How to gap down, moving higher, 2130. What else was asked for here? Rocket. I've actually bought a little bit of RKT.
Market mortgage.
Not really moving.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, my short's starting to play out a little bit more now. Like I was mentioning earlier, Asian markets get open. We start to get a little move.
You saw the Q's getting this a little lower.
Let me see.
Tesla dumping. I moved this line up to around where it was. But if you look before, this is around the level where my line was, 320. So this is where you would want to see some resistance for your Tesla, in my opinion. I'm also stupid, so in my opinion.
Japan markets are open. Japan opened up. They're moving down.
Wonderful markets. Syracuse, Tesla dumping a tiny bit. 319.
Yeah, down a
Can't imagine there's
percent.
aggressive amounts of volume.
That wick is wild.
What else?
But yeah, I'm watching. Japan has opened up. They are down about 3/4 to 7.75 to 0.84%.
Lower.
This is the time frame I was talking about when you start to get a little bit more movement. You can see the futures have reacted a little bit here towards the downside.
Tesla 317.
Seeing the videos down 1.3% right now. AMD as well. Walmart's down 1.5%. Tesla's 1.6 now on the downside. Avgo down more than 1%. You're starting to see these tech names down much more than the indices, some of these individual names. Apple's down 1%. It's not like, Exxon up 3.75% with this movement. Oil. Just going through my list here. See, oil not really doing anything. See if gold starts to catch a bid here. What gold does, it's close to filling its gap actually to the downside.
$315 for Tesla.
You got VWAP right down
NOC,
here.
Exxon. Someone wants Exxon Mobil.
That's what I was saying.
Exxon Mobil up.
Yeah, I see it at 3.5, 3.25, and moving 4.5 now.
All right, let's get some post up. Give me a second.
You're good. As mentioned,
Tesla in this.
Here's our pullback, lower than we've been in the last hour and a half on NQ. As the Asian markets get open, like I said, Japan opened up. I think China's like 30 minutes after this, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think they have another 30 minutes before their market gets open. But that short trade I took, just got to trim there at VWAP. We are moving down a little bit, but I see the Nikkei is open over there in Japan, and the 24-hour markets are open here as well.
Yeah, nice move on Exxon. 24-hour single stock markets. Okay. All right, so I got that out. ExxonMobil continuing to move higher.
Futures coming in pretty steady here. This is that area I was highlighting a little bit earlier. This consolidation would get retested. You see it here on the ES as well. Wait, Exxon, is that 8% now?
Okay. Yeah, ExxonMobil 124. That's up 7%. You can actually see it up here. Tesla down 1.5. That's a crazy move. I'm sure some of these other ones, but that's going to be leading it.
So
What else
all-time
do you guys
high is
talking about? Northrop
126, by the
Grumman.
way. That's really close to
Northrop
all-time high.
Grumman, what's defense doing? That's why he wanted us to look at it. Up 6%. This guy's like, check Northrop Grumman, check Northrop Grumman. So is my Boeing doing anything? Of course not. No. Lockheed Martin.
What's Lockheed Martin,
Yeah, up
RKT,
2.
or RTX, sorry.
Yeah.
RTX is what I was trying to say. A little bit of a move there.
Circle. Someone said circle bubble about a bust. Said them down.
What about
horrible.
Coinbase? Probably, yeah.
Bitcoin's down.
Look at that. How far is
So-
that down? 3.5?
Yeah, 3.6.
That's makes sense.
Someone SMCI
Kratos is like another good one.
down 9, down 3, not down 9. SMCI is down 3. I don't know this one. This is probably just like a low liquidity thing. I don't know. Let me see. Let me check somewhere else. Indo.
I can check too.
No, that's a tiny market cap.
Kratos is up 9%. That's a defense name. That's one Stock Talk's been all over.
SoFi, someone asked for as well. Down. SoFi getting slapped down 4.5. Oxy.
Oxy's probably up 5. Let's see.
Oxy's up 4.
4?
And
Okay.
Zeta's up 16.
Wow.
All right, maybe it is it.
Yeah, we should be paying
Right, sir?
attention to Zeta.
I shouldn't have done that. I don't know what that just showed.
I was taking a drink. I didn't even see it, so it was quick. All right, they're buying up stiff pretty strong right now on indices.
Well, okay. Not great, but whatever. We can be moving higher. What's the Honeywell doing?
I feel like that name doesn't move much in after hours.
It's not going to move in after hours. Now there's Warner Bros. Discovery. Dumper. 1050 calls what I had. Tesla making its way back up to the to even on the overnight. What else? Over here. What about Kratos, Palantir? No, I'm just joking around. No, I want you guys to tell us what to look at. Give us more stocks in the chat. Palantir down 1. You said Kratos is running up 10, 11, down up 13. Some of these are definitely low liquidity overnight, but initial moves. Apple, Amazon, Netflix down 1. What else? Snowflake 10.5. Not really. What else did we moving up? Oil, defense. What about like a JP Morgan? What's FinTech doing? Unchanged. Moving up since the open of 24-hour markets. Oh, there's a fourth. Oh, that's my screen. I was like, oh, is someone waiting to join us up? No, it's just my screen. Ooh, the game started. Pacers. Little lead?
Buying the dip on OKC yet?
I wonder if there is a dip yet. I would imagine there would not be initially. Let me get the game on. I'm going to have to go on
It's
mute.
very, very slight. Very, very slight.
Here, I'm going to get the game on. Let me stop sharing my screen for a second. Over to you.
Gotta start posting the schedule very soon.
Yeah, we can close this out soon. I just want to keep going. Honestly, like I said, I really want to do more live streams. I'm good to hang out here. I got nothing else to do. I can keep my screen share and you can just be in the background. But I want to do more of these. I want to do more on YouTube. Obviously, X, we're going to keep nonstop doing all day, every day. But I enjoy live streams. I think they're good. I think they're a fun time with 30,000 people come in and join in on this. So probably to do more. Wherever you're watching this, subscribe, follow. Expect to see more of them. I'm going to put the game on quickly, though. And my goal is to get to monetize on YouTube, which is 4,000 watch hours. Last time I got rejected because, I don't know, there was stupid stuff. It was because I was posting a lot of my spaces over to YouTube and they didn't like that. They were like reusing content. So if I get rejected again after we make this push, it's over. I'm done. Yeah, I'm going to get the game on. Knicks and 6.
Next,
Let me go on mute so I don't get. Let me go on mute so I don't get freaking copyrighted.
I can't hear anything. Yeah, I was actually using some of the free music on Restream the other day, and we got a little copyright notice. Come on, InQ.
I haven't even
Another
gotten the game
20
on yet. I'm
points.
trying to get it on now.
Oh. So,
No, I know. I need
a lot of blue. A lot of blue on my screen.
a lot of blue. It's a wonderful color. It's a wonderful shade of blue. You know, blue is
American
great.
blue. Think of all the great blue things. Blue's Clues.
Okay, let's get this. Come on. So I lost my remote to my TV, so now I need to use like my phone, and it needs to be connected to the same Wi-Fi, but my Wi-Fi is a little booky.
There
So
you
it
go.
connects and disconnects.
Is it a Roku? You got a Roku?
It is
I've
a
had
Roku.
to do that. I've had to do that with the Roku app.
So I'm playing a little game here of can I fucking get this game on ever?
There's Halliburton with a 3.
Who hit the first basket? I wonder if it was Halliburton.
I didn't see. I was looking at.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a wonderful basket.
Sharks.
Wonderful basket. Yeah. Come on, Roku. Come on, Roku.
Ooh, another 3. We turn this into an NBA, yeah, NBA live reaction. You ever watch those? So like, there was actually a controversy. So like, I guess one of the down here in Mexico, one of the main stations, TV Azteca, that runs a lot of the soccer games, they didn't like want to pay extra. They thought it was overpriced for like these Club World Cup and the Gold Cup stuff going on. So like the two main guys that everyone on there loves, they just did their own podcast and just did like their own commentary, like live, like one of those YouTube streams where it's just them. And so like a lot of people were watching the game but muted it and put on the podcast, and like all the other people in the industry were getting pissed off about it.
Cry harder. Wonderful stock and sports stream. The biggest, the
Now,
best.
start over and read that in Trump's voice.
Wonderful stock stream. Wonderful sports stream. You know, they're doing both. And they're doing it the biggest. It's the best. You know? Nothing better. Do it. Again, that was really weak for me. Sometimes I hit the voice. Okay.
The biggest, the best, nothing better on a Sunday evening than stock market news and Wolf Financial live stream as Imp takes a short. He's not American for shorting the market. What a panicking, but he's making money.
Someone said Tesla going back up.
Tesla.
It is now green. Yeah. Let me get my 24. Let me. While this is being annoying, let's pull this back up. Tesla is now back up to green. This line is where it was opened. QQQ. QQQ. What is happening here?
Where?
It's not letting me connect.
Another
bro.
3 from Halliburton.
I just want to watch some basketball. BK just put out a funny tweet.
What do you do?
It was like that meme, future meme, and it's like Austin, Texas. This is a good one.
Let's check out the Lux audio.
The Luke's I'll go. What else do we got going on here? Yeah. 324, nice. ExxonMobil, where's that at? Pulling back a tiny bit. Now at 5, it got all the way up to 10. Nvidia, a little bit. Some life. To life. Q's not
Yeah,
participating.
QQQ doesn't look too good right now.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's what I was saying. Normally we see more action once Asia gets open. So far,
What time does Asia open?
right there, right? We just had it. And so we call it the Asia session because that's when Japan, the Nikkei opens. The Shanghai index, I believe, opens 30 minutes later. So in 13 minutes from now.
Bro, I'm going to get this game on. Come on, Roku. What are you doing? Let's go short the stock. What is it doing? Why isn't this TV work? Where's my remote? Why won't you connect? Oh, good. This is what they deserve. What's the score?
It just went to break. I think it's like 14-10.
What do you think about Clean Spark? Not a big fan of this company, but let's see. Down 3. Does not look like a fun one to be a part of. Right now, so far. So you're saying there's a chance. It would be fantastic if. Maybe here's what we'll do. Let's close the app. Let's disconnect from the Wi-Fi. Reconnect to the Wi-Fi. This is it, you know? Damn, I don't see it. All right. Well, that's pretty frustrating. Oh no, Evan needs an AirTag on your remote. Well, it's too late. That remote's gone. I should have AirTagged it. But you can use your app. Normally it works. Sometimes it works. 50-50. I'm pretty committed to getting this game up at this point. I mean, what the fuck else am I supposed to do? Come on, boys.
USA and how do you say it? Haiti? They're tied 1-1 right now in Gold Cup.
Come on. We got enough people in America to beat Haiti. Come on.
Yeah, I remember when Trinidad and Tobago beat the US 1-0 to knock us out of the Russia World Cup. That was the last day I cheered for the U.S. I still pull for him to win.
What's happening? Doesn't it just connect?
Airball, airball. Oh, I just heard order filled. Must be making new lows.
Say.
There we go, slightly.
Qs, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm short in Q.
SPY also. SPY looks worse, actually.
All the bears shorted the market, turned on the game.
Come on, Roku. You can do it. You can connect. You guys can find each other's on these Bluetooths, these airwaves. All right. Come on. We are at 75 watch hours, though, which is pretty good. What else do we have? Can you move the chart up because you're both screen hiding the current price on the right?
Click on the other option that puts us on tiled on the right.
What does that mean? Okay. That is what he wants. Got
On
how
the
I did.
layout. It's the one to the farthest to the right.
It is not the farthest to the right for me.
So the last option where it's got like squares down the right side and then one big square in the middle.
But I don't even know, like, can I just do that? Oh, nope, don't want that.
What's up, everyone? No, on the layout, like down where the volume buttons and stuff are for you, or the mute and all that. You have like the
Yeah.
different layouts. It should be the last option that shows squares on the right side.
Square on the right side. Virtual background shortcuts. Presentation, video storage. No.
Should be on the
Oh.
main screen under the display. Like
No,
that, but there's a
that doesn't
different
look
one.
good. This
No,
one,
there's a
right?
different one. That one. That's the one where we
Sure.
don't cover up the screen.
All right. Let me know. Chat. Back to the chat. I see we're saying you're shorting NQ now. Did he say that correctly? DK wants to know, Emp, are you actually short right now?
No, I shorted a lot earlier.
So you covered?
No, I'm still trimming on the way. I'm still in half my position.
If US can't beat Haiti with MLS players plus Adams, Pouch needs to go. Poch, sorry.
Pochettino.
I still can't get this game to work. Kratos moving a little lower. I know a lot of people were watching that. What was the name? Zeta? 12.
Zeta. Or Zeta. Zeta.
All right. Come on, game. I got a notification Raytheon up 5. Right now would be a great time to connect. A wonderful time.
Great time. Wonderful time. The best. The best time.
Best time to wear a striped sweater.
Is all the time.
It's like that's the problem with this mic is it picks it up. I'm pretty far right now.
Yep.
But I should sound better than I would with just my headphones. Fencer says shorted the 20 crack on the floor at 1/5 M&Q. Next target price down at didn't tell us.
So let's get all that in one message, my man.
It's okay. More chat, more talks in the chat. It's a wonderful chat.
Go fast. Are you buying Indiana?
I would love to buy Indiana. Yeah, give me a fat dip though. But I can't watch this game. Like, what's happening?
It's on ABC. It's on ESPN.
No. The problem is I can't. The remote. Like,
oh.
Here's what I'm gonna do actually. That might be a genius. I have a second computer that I'm probably just gonna use and put it up on. It's gonna take a while to do that.
I actually like watching it on my sportsbook because it's faster.
The sportsbook is so quick; it is crazy.
Dude, the live stream, and it doesn't have commercials either. So like mine, because I have Caliente or whatever, it just shows like the stadium camera, like during all the timeouts right now. Like it'll sit here and show like the dance, like they'll be playing some Little John song or Pitbull or something. They'll show people dancing in the stands and all that. I'll see the interview a lot of times, like with the coach, like 2 minutes before everyone else, because they do it right at the beginning of the timeout instead of, when they come back from the commercial break.
I have, yeah.
Uh-oh. Halliburton was down.
All right, there we go. Resume to refresh. Come on, hit him. Finally. I get so many of these political ads right now. Okay, all right, we are back. What's the chat saying? Sorry, guys. Emp was making me neglect you. Yeah, bro. No, I'm walking. Okay, this pops soon. You'll barely talk about that. Not being rude. I am new to stream, and you don't know what. I am new to stream and do not know what y'all talk about specifically. We're just hanging out. I don't know, just general market talk.
I'm just watching, honestly.
You're not going to do anything on the weekend. Ed is giving the most of it back.
I am closely watching for some type of macro headline or geopolitical headline. That's what I'm most paying attention to here.
I'm a long-term investor. I'm watching
Israel military. The latest threat. Israel military is telling citizens they're permitted to leave protected areas. Latest threat is over. Why is Samsung down 3%?
All right, nice. Game on now. Profess says I'm in on IND, but I will never be in on Yum. No Taco Bell for me. What is IND?
Indiana.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, fair. Pacers. I mean, they're tied. Wait, how is this game tied? And then they're subject to lose now.
Halliburton just tore his ACL. As ACL.
Actually,
I mean, I'm sorry. I think it's his Achilles.
I missed that. Actually, that's what just happened.
Yeah, literally, like right before that commercial break.
Jeez. I don't know, man. He might come out. The Haliban. You never know.
He literally blew out his Achilles. That's like 80% possible, 20% speculation.
No, it looks bad. Yeah, I'm seeing it. Damn.
Yeah, it's bad.
That's got to be it then. Yeah.
What's the let's see what the Robin Hood says. Oh yeah, it went up to 83, 82. Mm, tough scenes. I hate to see an injury. Even if you're OKC, just for like me from a former athlete standpoint, almost every athlete I know, they want to beat the other team at full strength. You don't want to see an injury no matter what to anybody. But
I just want
beyond
to
that,
win.
like well, I'm telling you as the competitor, the team, you want to beat the other team at the best because you don't want people to say, "Oh, well, if they would have had Halliburton or this," no, like you want to beat the other team at full strength. I gotta start posting the schedule real fast, Evan.
Is it about that time? I'm just watching this game in the background. We'll go for a little bit longer, but coming on the last slide. We just got 29, 30 people on the YouTube. Let's go. Appreciate you guys. Telling you, we're doing more on this YouTube. Let me delete some stuff though. We're here. And I can't see how many people we have live on X, but total we've had 26,450 people on Stock Market News, 6,900 on Wolf Finance, Kappa. Nice. Pretty good. 34,000 total. Shout out Vista Shares. Okay, let's look through a couple more. Haven't looked at Disney. I was looking through Prospero and had AMC on its buy list. It's not going well so far. We'll see how that ends up playing out, though. I saw some people talking about JetBlue. It's not enough to move here. Meta, 677. Goddamn. Meta's been doing a lot recently. Investing in Scale AI, 40 buying 49%. There's been a lot of stories around, them talking to other companies. There's been talks about Perplexity and Apple possibly making a bid for Perplexity, which I find to be interesting. There's a whole article this weekend from
Is Apple
Mark
moving?
Gurman.
Did you check Apple?
No, why?
Because of that headline from Perplexity.
Oh,
Or
okay,
not from Perplexity, about Perplexity.
that it came out on Friday though, so part of it was in there. That might have been this. I think that's what this move was.
No,
We gave him a pullback.
it came out after hours, I thought,
Yeah,
at
this is
least.
after hours, June 20th.
No, so
First.
that big spike, that happened when you had that was the options expiration. That was the quarterly options expiration. Yeah, a bunch of names went all over the place that last 5-minute candle, 10-minute candle.
Gotcha. So maybe it's like one of those. I don't know if were you able to see my Twitter there? Shower Relentless saying keep streaming, you guys are lit. Hood wants to move.
I don't
Is
know.
what
I'm on another screen right now,
another
putting the
comment.
schedule out.
Oh damn. Hood is recovering nicely. Now down 1. Relentless Roadrunner. Roadrunner. Emp, what are you thinking for live streams this week?
It'll be tough for me because I'm traveling Wednesday,
I forgot about that. Yeah,
and so like the next week and a half probably be
maybe tomorrow
rough
or
to
Tuesday that
go.
we get a stream.
Yeah, I'll be around
But I know
for
also like
sure.
the day before you want to just like get ready and stuff.
Yeah, we have a pretty full day, pretty full schedule next couple days on Spaces, but there'll be some time into the first quarter. 25-22 OKC.
Ooh, not a horrible shot to end it from Pascal. Pascal Siakam. All right, let's call it. I appreciate you all. This was a good time. We're gonna do more of this. Yeah, I enjoy the live streaming aspect of it. I think that this is spaces are great. We want to do more spaces. We want to get more of our spaces friends onto this, which is something we're going to be doing. So, expect to get more of these live streams wherever you're watching. Expect to see more of them if you're on Twitter. I'm trying to do more of them on YouTube as well. So let me post in the chat right now on the X the link over to the YouTube. No, fuck it. Actually, never mind. I'm going to be doing them both on X and YouTube. I want to grow everywhere. I want to meet you guys where you're at. So I'm not get you guys to go over to a different platform. Search my name on YouTube if you want to find it. I appreciate you all. If you guys aren't following Emp, you are completely missing out. That is what I will put in the chat is put Emp's at. He's been hanging out with me for the last hour or so. I hope I can just tag you in here. Gonna put this in the chat on the Twitch. Emp, you got anything you want to leave the people with? I know we got a busy week.
Yeah, I mean, we'll obviously we'll see what happens. I mean, I think myself, a lot of traders, as well as most of the world, are waiting on the next headline at this point. So see what happens. I'm take a little bit more profit here and see if we track down a little bit lower in the next little bit. But other than that, probably just keep my eyes on things for the next little bit. I'm getting the full Spaces schedule posted out right now on Wolf Financial. It'll be the pinned tweet. And yeah, that's all I really have, Evan. I think we should start doing this more often, though. I agree with you. Especially Sunday futures open. I like this. Kind of get ready for the week, see what the futures are doing.
Yeah, I agree. I'm down to book it for next week. Let's do it. But yeah, see you in the morning, Relentless Roadrunner. Everyone else, I appreciate you for being here. I just put on the space on the X live stream the link to Emp's Twitter. Go in and follow him. He's awesome. He's great. And yeah, we'll catch you all tomorrow. Appreciate you all.